Oh, I realised something.
Yeah?
2 weeks ago, we were agonising over what is the difference between a geek and a nerd.
And we decided it was an Americanism that we just had no part of.
And that is incorrect. There is actually a different definition for both.
Okay.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Pray
The more
tell.
you know.
So, a geek is someone who enjoys something, like Dungeons and Dragons, for instance, but doesn't openly partake in it. For instance, your average watcher of Critical Role. Whereas a nerd is someone who practices the thing that they enjoy.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I would have thought it was the other way around.
So in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, we are the clerics as opposed to the congregation. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot. Hello. You're coming as we learn a lot about geeks and nerds. I thought it was an American thing.
Well,
it probably is an American thing, to be fair. Jocks and all this sort of rubbish. But no, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good way of thinking about it. So,
You're welcome.
thank you, Dave.
Nice work.
The more
Thank you.
you know. Look, David.
This is my only value, by the way. Everyone else brings everything,
Yeah.
cameras, sound hosts.
You have sound bites.
I show up.
You bring the pacts. That's what
Yeah.
you bring.
The
Right.
The deals.
You make terrible arrangements.
Last time, as a bit of a recap, the party travelled to Mount Arnan. We keep going back to this because it's important, escorting Lady Riverwall and Carmion on a trip to find Hidden Castle. No, sometimes you've got to imagine if people jump in and they haven't seen a few episodes,
Yeah, of
then
course.
it kind of
Yeah,
gives
yeah,
it a context. The party was
Rather than us not
exactly
remembering.
travelling to Mount Arnan, escorting Lady Riverwall and Carmion, the magical assistant of her, to find a hidden castle and then return to Ybrit, the city on the rock. After exploring the island to very little avail, you were sent by Carmion to the Shadowfell, where you encountered the Clockwork Castle. Having solved the puzzle, avoiding the horrific creature of some kind, you escaped back to the material plane, where you found yourselves deep underground. You encountered a bridge guarded by a lesser beholder, who eventually managed to make your way across with some pretty good spell work, actually.
Batshit.
Yeah. Scary.
Totally. That was great fun to play. I love that. You then encountered, rather accidentally and boldly, but still, you encountered a raiding party of Durgar, dark, deep dwarves, very evil creatures, who seem to have captured a female dwarf in a wooden cage that was being lifted down the stairs. But when you found it, the Durgar were nowhere to be seen. You were none the wiser, and you saw the cage resting upon the stairs with no wheels. Some hints. You picked up pretty quickly that there were people around. It was a good...
I thought it was going to come towards us.
It was a really, really poor stealth roll on behalf of one of the Durgar who gave the whole game away, but never mind.
Bastard.
I'm literally going, shit.
And then they popped into existence, being invisible at the time, and ambushed you. You, however, as a deadly encounter, they were no challenge to the three of you, who
Go,
that was
TBA.
just ridiculous. You proved far too strong. Blue's magic causing absolute chaos in the middle of the battle. Theren proving literally impossible to hit. And then Aubrey soaking up the damage even when I did hit her. It was...
Smashing everything.
It is but a scratch.
You played to your strengths very well. The three dwarf you discovered was named Voldra Orborn, who seemed to be some sort of underranger captured by the Durgar
If I may,
whilst on patrol.
my favourite thing in that whole fight was how you, playing the dwarf for us, went from just run to yes!
Exactly. Good. Yeah. No. You turned that.
Just a look of disbelief, and then
Oh shit!
Wow.
With her help, she guided you via a secret rest point, dug into the tunnel walls, to an inn frequented by numerous dwarves further up the subterranean tunnels, further to the surface, so that you have no idea how close to the surface you are at this point. Whilst there, you all rested and shopped. You traded in numerous mithril bars and treasures that you had obtained upon your travels so far, and we had a little bit of a pit stop that was well worked.
Did you get something you wanted?
I got something I wanted.
Where you purchased better armour. In the case of these two, you got yourselves full half-plate armour.
I just have armour. That's
And
right.
Theren, you managed to get yourself the long-awaited plate armor.
Oh God, I've never felt so complete in my life.
Sold here.
So the party have a substantial AC upgrade, which you'll see in the improved graphics to this side. I'm kind of off the camera a little bit. Hello, this side.
Which way are we again?
You're under.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's some sweet AC.
You may also notice that the party have leveled up to level 6, which actually for these two is a fairly big deal because you now both have your extra attack. So
Don't forget it.
encounters might need to get a bit harder, eh? After last time.
Yeah,
I've just put down here that you're now actually substantially wealthy, and you traded some of your wealth in for a little bit of dwarfen workmanship.
Yeah.
Promised upgrade on Aubrey's great axe. You met whilst you were in the inn a older female dwarf named Baylor Goldspire, who informed you all of one of the possible reasons why the Durgar might have attacked. Generally, she reported an increase in Durgar attacks, a bit more hostility from a party who were always hostile to the dwarves, but potentially had, to an extent, left them alone, but now were in seemingly open sort of skirmishes. I'm trying to think, what was the style of warfare in Vietnam?
Guerrilla.
It was a guerrilla warfare, that's it. Lots of raiding, lots of ambushes. And she informed you of the presence of an old artifact that had been held by the dwarves for a period of time. They couldn't figure out what it was or what it did, but it was stolen by the Durgar, and scout reports following the Durgar back from their raid reported to her that it had been taken back to where it was found, an old abandoned temple deep underground.
They just put it back where they found it and went, let's hope that all goes away now.
Exactly. The three members of the party connected the dots and jumped to the conclusion that this artifact was in all probability the very same artifact that Carmien and Lady Riverwall had asked you to find on your trip, the purpose of their expedition in the first place.
Spooky.
Baylor told you that if you found the artifact and removed it, that she wanted no more to do with it. Seemingly it was proving a bit of a beacon for Durgar hostility to be taken away from the area. Gave her no cause for concern. And so you were instructed, effectively, once you were ready, after taking some time within this dwarven hospitality, which so far has proven to be good, hearty food, even heartier beer, even heartier partying, and then even deeper sleep. It has been a 24 hours of fantastic rest for you. You settled down to plan your next trip. Now, we've got a couple of things we're going to go through. Last time we picked up on, you had some questions about your hurdy-gurdy. What I want the rest of you to think about at the same time is whilst you spend some time at this inn, you quickly find out that it's called the Anvil's Rest, a detail that I forgot to mention, but you find it eventually.
Very dwarven.
Very dwarven. It's seemingly between the innkeeper and Baylor, who makes an appearance at various points in time. They inform you that the services of the dwarves are very much open to your use, and to that extent you have access pretty much to the shop of the player's handbook. So think about equipment you might want to buy, supplies, torches, weaponry, anything you might want to buy. This is the time to do it.
I've got picnic blanket written down, but I do not remember.
No, you asked if you could go back in time and buy a
Picnic
picnic.
blanket, yeah.
As I do.
Because Blue would totally have a picnic blanket that
Okay.
you lay out neatly in your bubble every time you cast it. I mean, honestly, this is
What
Sam's
happens
mind
in
in full
there?
flow.
That's
You
what
come
I
back
want.
to it a little while after and you're like, wait, what? I love it. Irag, the fiery, very beefy dwarf who runs the forge, who makes an appearance every now and then, initially to take your order for your armour and your weaponry. He sends various apprentices to the inn at times to fit you out, get you measured, take your old armour away, sharpen weaponry, upgrade your weaponry.
Sorry, Theren would insist on keeping the splint mail to return it to the guy who made it.
Okay, that's fine. He would have met with a little bit of resistance, but make a persuasion check.
Rips it from your hands.
Under the premise that the armour is needed very much to essentially aid the fitting process. 17. They let you have it. Right. They give you the option to keep it eventually. They'll give you a few raised eyebrows, but nothing you can't get.
He just
past.
explains the importance.
Exactly.
And it's for a dwarf, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Irag, again, another gold spire, seemingly a relative of Baylor. You would imagine some sort of cousin, son, not maybe son directly. There's no affection there. It's very much they refer to each other as family, but there doesn't seem to be too much connection particularly. But he comes and you ask him what he would like. So, what were your questions?
Hi, Mr. Iraq.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for helping with our armour. It's awesome.
Well, that's what I do.
Or it's beginning to look awesome. Could I have your valued opinion on a strange metallic artifact I have?
Please, yes, do show.
This is the wheel of my hurdy-gurdy, and I thought it was sky iron, which I don't know if you've come across, but apparently it's an alloy, and I'm just looking for knowledgeable people of the smithing nature to help me kind of understand it.
He, without really asking, takes it from you. His big hands sort of wrapping around it, and comically takes a very, very large lens, like a sort of separate eyepiece that he fits in his eye, squinting down on it. Spends like 2-3 minutes, seemingly disinterested, and sort of hands it back to you. Wait, so you'd finish.
Horrible noise.
That is very valuable.
Woo!
Sky iron indeed. I've only seen it a couple of times. It's not something we mine or have access to down in this particular clan. But I've heard tales of it. Where did you get it?
Well, we found the metal itself back on Melis. Well, my dad found it.
Don't know it.
Okay, it's an island.
Okay, above ground.
Yes.
Right. Yes, that would make sense. He sort of thinks about it. Tell me, have you heard tales of rocks that fall from the sky?
Vaguely.
Large boulders, meteorites they call them, that descend from the outer atmosphere and strike into islands. Exceptionally rare. For when a rock normally, and so I've heard, normally enters into the world, it burns up, is destroyed. Or, in most other occasions, when it does make contact, into the sea, to be lost forever. Very rarely these things land on land, and so I've been told, some of these meteorites, very rare, can be smelted down into a substance they call sky iron. Now, you're correct. That is not pure sky iron. It is an alloy, and I recognise it because we work in it a lot. It's mithril. It's been weaved with. In fact, it's mostly mithril, I would say. Looking at the sort of the complexion, I'd say it was probably 5 parts mithril to 1 part sky iron. It really is very little sky iron in this, but still enough. I wouldn't really know how to value sky iron personally, but it is more expensive than mithril, put it that way. 10 times more, if that. If I knew what to do with it, I'd probably value it more.
Well, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Very welcome. What little I know about sky iron, the reason I know about it is because my work deals mostly with gold, silver, electrum, very conductive material, but mithril has very intriguing properties. It can be worked into very light armor. It can be worked into very strong objects that shouldn't hold their form for something so light. It's very tough. And, well, my father, he dabbled a little bit in various metals, and sky iron, it has weird properties. It changes depending on what you do with it. For instance, mixed in mithril like this, it takes on, as I imagine, resonance properties, the ability to conduct magic through sound. I've never seen a blend like this, to be frank, and just from its design in your instrument, it would make sense. But I've heard sky iron be mixed with other metals to become as strong as adamantine, to become as valuable as pure diamond, to become as flammable as some of the finest fire salts from the fire plane. This substance is incredibly chaotic.
Whoa.
And in its pure form, from what I've heard, and I've never seen this in practice, but in its pure form, it is weightless. And more so, it seemingly repels gravity, pulling upwards rather than down. It's a very strange substance. And he sort of looks at it again, sort of peeks at it. This, especially combined with mithril. Mithril is an incredibly tough material. This crack here, I wouldn't worry about it.
No?
That's... He sort of looks at it. Can I be frank with you?
I thought your name was Eric.
Boo!
He
Sorry.
slaps you on the shoulder very nice.
I like you.
This is broken. And in all likelihood, does it still play music?
Yeah.
Still functions?
Yeah.
I would surmise that it was broken when you got it.
Really?
A proper working blend of sky iron and mithril, according to, from what I remember about my father's notes, that would be incredibly focusing of magical energies. It would act almost like an amplifier, like a focus. You would be able to take arcane energy and just adapt it in ways that you would not be able to normally. Being honest with you now, if this was working, you would know about it.
Right.
I believe this has been broken for some time, and to that extent, I wouldn't worry about it getting worse. This crack, with a metal as strong as mithril, it would take hundreds of years of playing, in my opinion, to break. This is good craftsmanship.
Oh, well, that's very, very helpful and good to hear.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
very welcome.
I think it's safe to say you've blown my mind, partially.
The one thing I would say, and the reason why sky iron workmanship is so expensive, is that whenever you create an alloy with it, any damage done to the alloy can only be replaced with additional sky iron. Adding mithril to this compound and fixing it would not do anything, and that is beyond my help. I do not know how to craft sky iron. I do not know where to find it. These are mysteries to me. But thank you for showing me this. This is quite something.
Oh, well,
You've intrigued an old dwarf.
well, my pleasure.
I say.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Should I pay him with...
He's already bored at this point. He's
Okay.
gone. So, is there anything else you'd like to stock up on now? This is your time.
I would like to do, and I want to do a thing, but then I want to do another thing. So if you want to go first,
Alright, well, a shopping list.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a spare player's handbook?
There was one here. Not looking at it.
Yep, players handbook there.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so
Yep.
if possible,
Mm-hmm.
if there's a potion of healing, I would like that.
Potions of healing.
Yes.
Yes,
Good
they
shout.
are available.
Just a normal, boring, basic one.
Were they 75?
No,
50.
50.
50. I always do that. 50
Yeah.
gold.
No,
Yep.
So if possible, so potion of healing,
Yep.
1 bag of ball bearings,
Yeah, that's fine.
2 bags of caltrops,
Yep.
a lamp, and 5 flasks of oil.
Perfect.
And now,
Mark it all off. I trust
will.
you to do
No,
the gold.
I will. I'm just adding it up. And then, so a grappling hook. Is
Yes.
that just the hook, or does it come with something?
I would assume it probably comes with rope. I think the grappling hook
I
aspect
assume
is
it's-
more expensive than the
I
rope
assume
anyway.
it's, yeah, so I can just...
Let's assume the grappling hook combines with your 50 feet of rope, perhaps, and
Perfect.
then you can. It's one or the other, unless you want to take more rope. You've got the
No,
bag of
I've got-
holding now.
Yeah.
to be
Also,
fair.
don't forget, I've got 3 coils of 50 feet rope.
No, it's fine. So I'm just thinking, just in case we need to...
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
So yeah, that's
good,
fine.
Good thinking.
I know, right?
Perfect.
So potion
So
of healing.
mark that all off.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. In the healing potion, there's 50 gold.
50.
There seems to be enough healing potions. If you ask them, they are obtained. So
Yeah,
that is not a
and
problem.
that was basically, I was just sort of stocking up on those random things.
Now that you ask, and you ask about healing potions, they do offer you as well greater healing potions. that can be bought. Each is 150 gold pieces, and there are 3 of them available if you want them.
I'm good with just a normal.
So regular
one.
healing potion is 2d4 plus 2. Greater healing is 4d4 plus 4.
Yeah, I'm happy with just a normal, boring lesser.
Perfect.
So that's fine. So it's working out what I've got. I think that's 55 gold. No, it'll be more than that.
Great.
I'll
Theren.
Okay, I imagine
56.
Theren and Aubrey would probably go at the same place at the same time.
Well,
Probably.
weirdly, you were left in the bar. You're very much kept in this tavern, and
Oh,
when
people
you
come to
ask
me.
for supplies, yeah, people come to you. Effectively, people will
Wow.
appear into the tavern with their wares, and they will take orders from you, or they will disappear and collect the orders later.
Okay, then 2 things.
Of course.
First of all, he would request 2 healing potions.
Yep, mark them off. 50 gold each. Yep.
Yep, that's fine. Secondly, he would ask for their best weaponsmith and to speak with him or her privately.
Well, that would be the same dwarf, actually. He makes his
He goes
way.
from
He gets some
blue.
time with Irag.
Okay.
Again, he sort of comes over. What can I help you with?
I wanted to talk to you. You're quite experienced with weapons.
Well, that is my trade.
Have you ever dealt with magic weapons before?
Well, yes, of course. We've just literally producing one for your friend here.
I mean,
How is that magic?
Oh, the great axe. Yeah, probably is now.
It is, yes, it is a magic weapon. It's a +1 weapon, but I mean, it's not
magic.
magical in the sense of like sentience, but it's magical in the sense that
So
they've
would I-
had to combine magic in the process
Would I have
of
to use
making
it?
it.
Can I use it in the tournament then or not?
well, yeah, because I could use Bear Claw.
You don't know.
Damn it. Okay, that's something for later, Fiona, to worry about. Continue. Too late. I spent the money.
I have this, and take out Bear Claw. He's already seen it, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has already remarked
Yeah.
how unbalanced and heavy it is.
I understand that it feels unusual to anyone but I. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
He looks at it. No, honestly, this is quite plain. It is a sword made of quite. It's just iron. I don't even think this is steel. He sort of looks at it and sort of looks around. No, this is. I can throw this away. I've got better swords if you'd like.
I would very much ask you not to do that.
To yourself. Hands it back to you.
Such a weapon. Weapons that are not of this plane. Can they be improved?
Are you asking in relation to this sword?
Yes.
This is not a magical weapon. This is a poorly crafted iron sword. I mean, look, it takes it from you again. Feel the balance of this. This is. I say this in all delicacy. A magical weapon is a weapon created with large amounts of resource metal, time, expertise, and magic. It would be balanced at the very minimum.
If I may,
Go ahead.
I take the weapon back, just point it out at a wall and say, "Do you mind if I demonstrate?"
Oh god.
So at this point, the barkeeper goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what's going on?"
I require a area in which to...
Maybe not here.
Oh, you can do that outside.
Yeah.
Not in my bar.
Alright,
Thank you. And sort of points out.
I go outside.
Yeah,
with
and back into the
door.
stone tunnels. Yeah, you can see just immaculate brickwork everywhere.
Aim at the
I
floor.
am about to hit something with a force.
Right.
Is there anywhere that isn't, frankly, beautiful?
Sort of looks around. Well, this is our home, so
The floor, then.
this floor has taken months to make. What are you talking about?
I need to demonstrate what this
They're in the
weapon
home
can do.
wrecker.
This is.
Am I still
What are you
around?
going to do? Are you casting a spell? You look like you want to cast a spell.
Yes, it is a spell, but the spell is
Right.
not something...
Forgive me. We have many magic users within this dwarven city. An arcane focus is not a rare thing, but this can be a wand, a ring. I've even seen one of my apprentices who uses a leather glove as an arcane focus.
But I'm aware of the concept of an arcane focus, my good man. What I am simply inquiring about is that this weapon grants me abilities that as a man of my faith, I should not possess.
He sort of looks you up and down. Maybe, it may be. Coming to you from an expert of my profession, this sword has no magical quality.
Would I be best speaking to a wizard in your home instead? Not that you have not been incredibly useful.
Whoa.
If this is a magical object...
Make a persuasion check, but with disadvantage.
Yeah. The word is clan. You're looking for. Oh wow, you got. It was 18 on the first one.
23.
23. Alright.
He's not that offended.
He's over it.
23.
So it's like, I'm sorry, but I want another opinion, a second, a third. I've asked everyone. I need a 20-second opinion.
Look, yeah, you can ask who you want. I strongly suspect if you can cast magic and it is not divine, and you haven't learnt it, then you have the very rare gift of sorcery. Something we've seen before. A random connection to the weave or some sort of trauma can bring out sorcerous powers in people. It may well be that this weapon can give you powers, but have you considered there may be a coincidence? I feel like I'm not going to change your mind on this. I will go and see if I can find someone to talk to you.
Thank you. I don't want you to feel I've just ignored what you've told me. I appreciate it. You're right, it's plausible, but highly unlikely.
Well, are you sure you don't want a better weapon? Have you tried casting spells without it?
No, and frankly, since I picked this up, I've not even tried another weapon.
Right, well, you seem like a capable warrior. You may want to try another weapon at some point. We have some really nice weaponry.
I'm...
Yeah, it's fine, don't worry. Right, I must be getting off. I've got multiple shipments to... Right, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
He disappears off. And the three of you are left. Sorry, is there anything you want to get?
I will buy two-person tents.
Two two-person tents.
Yay!
Okay, easy enough to do. Fine, mark them off.
Yep, so that's -4 gold.
Fine,
I will.
perfect. And have you all done rations, torches, everything you want to do in that
I think
regard?
we did it last time. I seem to have 10 torches.
Perfect. Okay, so
Oh, that's
you
your
are
one,
left
isn't it?
to your own devices. You spent the first night there, and pretty much the whole day you are talking to each other, being bothered, but generally being left to sit around in this tavern. It's not particularly interesting. Until sort of the later afternoon. You would assume late afternoon. It's very difficult to tell underground. You have no concept of time here. It just seems to be following off the general sense of activity of the other dwarves. But eventually evening comes in and the overnight patrons make their way in. Another night of raucous drinking, bar fights, partying, sing-song. Still fun should you wish to take part, but the second time round, maybe wearing a little bit thin. Depends on how you choose to deal with it, but you are left to drink. You don't have to pay a thing for your food and drink. And eventually, as you get very tired and the dwarves start making their way out of the tavern, you are left to sleep again on the beds. And a new morning comes. You have a breakfast.
You're level 7. Oh!
You smell it before you see it. It's a beautiful collection of breads, all made
alright.
in various styles. You can see sour breads, rye, white loaves, just collections of artisan bread in various intricate styles. Mostly they seem to be shaped like beards of various kinds, plaited,
awesome.
knotted breads that look beautiful.
So cool.
And you feast. Closing in on midday, Erag and his apprentices make their way back in with your new armour. It
That was
is
pacing at this point.
beautiful equipment. It really is. It is stunning. you can see that the design of the Goldspire artisans is one of functional beauty. The plates are all very small, delicate pieces that all fit into each other, almost like lizard scale in a particular way that it works. It's made of a gleaming silver steel. And you can see on each plate individually, just traced very delicately into the plate, is the symbol of the Goldspire. You can see just the weave that comes up on every plate, but it is almost unseen. It takes particular light, really squinting to see it just flare up. It is beautiful armour. Theren, yours in particular, as you can see the full half-plate armour. And there's a moment when you stand before it and you look at it, and it is very different to the armour of the Order. The Order, there's a certain element of pride, suits of armour are handed from Inquisitor to Inquisitor to an extent. New armour is made, but there's a certain amount of pride in taking battle-worn armour with its dents and its chips and its scratches. This is new, gleaming steel. It is beautiful.
We'll dent it soon enough.
And
Tarnished.
the other requests, the shield and the tabard.
The shield and the tabard, again, have been made and fitted to your request. The symbol of the Order is like 85% of the way there. I mean, if you imagine somebody who was a very good artist was given a very good
Artistic
description,
impression
but
of
had
it.
never seen it before, it's passingly good. But there's an element of it that you can tell they weren't quite sure of what they were doing. But
You didn't bother to give you a bloody order symbol
You
to them
drew
or
it,
anything, no?
did you?
You fucking idiot.
Yeah, he would have shown the symbol, wouldn't he?
but
Like,
there's a
nah,
difference
we do it
between
better.
the
Yeah.
symbol as the metal
Yeah.
amulet and then the intricate symbol as painted on something.
I'll be honest, it's cheapened it a bit.
You can get it redone.
You can repaint it.
But
on
it is a
yourself.
metal shield now. And you adjust to the weight. It's very thinly wrought, but it's very tough. You can see the metal's been folded in on itself multiple times and shapen and straightened. It is beautiful.
Stop fucking laughing.
You are all fitted, shown how to take it on and off. Aubrey, for you, it is very different.
It's very good as fuck, yeah.
The weight of it isn't a problem for you, but
No.
it does restrict movement up here just a little bit. It takes a little bit to get used to. You realise actually that you just have to extend your movement slightly to swing your arms around, but
Yeah.
it doesn't limit you, but it's just very different. And you feel yourself clanking.
Oh, I clank so hard.
It's a bit clanky.
Yeah.
And Blue, for you, this is the biggest shock. It is heavy because the amount of steel, very politely, as best I can say this, to fit a Dragonborn of your size and stature is a lot of steel going on, and it's a heavy piece of armour, but it's beautifully made.
And as
You look
requested,
amazing.
did they make the half-plate helmet?
Yes, they did. They did.
It looks so ridiculous.
You both look very good.
Thank you. You look amazing. The symbols.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little off.
If you're accepting,
You're pure evil.
I suggest you both spar with each other to get used to your new armor before you fight it. Fight in it. I know that you tend not to use armor a lot, so it probably is more beneficial. Just as an exercise, that's all.
Weren't you trained in armor? I seem to remember.
Was that a terrible wink?
I can't wink. I've only got one eye. That's really insensitive.
Aubrey, you can't just tell someone with one eye, are you winking?
He's got another. We've seen it. It's another eye under. I'm not gonna have this argument now.
No, we haven't.
I think we did joke about it once, but no, I don't think it's canon.
Can I go to the armor runners? I'm sorry. Do you have any training dummies? Because otherwise, I'll be fighting on some real dummies quite soon.
Yeah, we can
Perfect.
bring them up. That's fine.
Thank
He sort of gestures and a couple
Yeah,
of
and
apprentices go.
I'll
And speaking of, and he reaches into a large box that was brought up and being taken out is your axe.
I mean,
It is your
it's
axe.
my axe.
But you can see the entire metal weapon on top. So not the actual sort of handle of the weapon, but the bladed metal instrument you can see has been plated in mithril. It is gleamingly beautiful. It shines off the torch and firelight in an immaculate way. You feel the weapon. The actual weapon itself, it feels like it's 20% lighter than it was before. But just all down, it's much more beautifully balanced than it was before. You feel, and with a couple of practice swings, clunking as the armour moves, but you still feel like that the swing is fantastic. But you get the sense that there's no less power in the head of this weapon. It is beautifully sharp. It has been reworked. And yes, it is a +1 great axe.
Thank you. It looks fucking incredible.
And again, you can see the insignia of gold spires just delicately put on the hammerhead, effectively.
It's all about that watermarking, isn't it?
Hey, that's how they get their business.
TBA Mondays. We're going for it. It's great.
Call them up.
So,
But to get used to it, I would practice with the dummies.
perfect. After a little while, the dummies are brought up. They are essentially large wooden blocks. You can see big trunks of wood are brought up. Just
yes.
Are you just training? You're going.
I'm just trying. I'm gonna try how the new armor. I'm gonna just attack them. Yeah.
Attack it, right? Make 3 attacks for me, and let me know what you get.
Okay.
Sorry.
Relentless. Reckless.
When they
Just
appear,
regular attacks.
Yeah.
I would, Theren would ask Blue something. Can I, just for a moment, borrow your longsword?
Yeah, sure.
So, he takes it, goes to one of the training dummies, and just practices using that instead of Beckle.
Okay, I'll practice with my greatsword.
So what are you using? Sorry, you're
He's
using a regular
just,
sword.
he's just making a couple swipes with a regular longsword at the training dummy.
It's making
Okay.
Bear Claw jealous.
Make me an attack with disadvantage.
You look to your hand. It's
What
already
did you
there.
get, Aubrey?
So the first one was 24, then 15, then 13.
24, 13,
24, 15, 13.
15, 13. Okay,
It
it takes you a
won't be
couple of
that,
swings
it'll
to get
be
used to it. The armour gets in the
plus
way, the axe is a
3,
different
so
weight.
20.
But that final swing, you get down, and with your new armour, you get yourself into a low position and do a sweep. And there's just a crash as the two of you see Aubrey broadside the training dummy with a huge golf swing. And you see possibly what is a foot in diameter wooden trunk just in one. Poof, as Aubrey smashes it in two, cleaving the piece of wood, splinters hitting everywhere. There's a moment where Irag sort of looks around with the apprentices. He immediately runs up, takes the axe from you, inspects the head of that. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
No damage.
No.
You see that weapon is it's got a good hands.
Yeah.
See that boy?
And he sort of nods and walks off. So, what did you get?
20.
20 with disadvantage.
Yes.
Very nice. So,
Bloody hell.
it takes you a little while to get used to it, but you find yourself fighting with the weapon. It feels ungainly. It's not a bad weapon, but you just, it's not quite the same.
Okay. I hand it back to Blue. Thank you.
No problem.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got like that's almost on my back.
Such a poser.
Like, oh, have you not noticed?
Your axe looks
It
nice.
does look nice, doesn't it?
Why are you holding it like that?
Oh, just for now. In case
Okay.
any passing painters.
He totally said ass.
Aubrey, in the nicest way possible. You look like a scarecrow.
Oh, thank you. Right.
That's the spell.
What a...
You
Aubrey will remember that.
wait another 10-15 minutes as you get yourselves ready, you put your equipment on, you load yourselves up to go. And 2 more dwarves make their way into the tavern. You can see from before Voldra Orborn, but this time you can see she is equipped in full studded leather armour. You can see across either side of her hips you've got 1 axe and 1 hammer, but all down her back you can see various knives. There's a couple of javelins on the back. She is equipped and ready to go. Her armour is a very faded black and brown and sort of camouflage. You can see where she, you would imagine in the darkness, camouflages into the rock walls very effectively. And a second dwarf actually slightly shorter than her, but this time male and younger, steps up. You can see dressed very similar, but without much of the weaponry. The daggers all down the back are the same, but a large crossbow, heavy crossbow, wielded over his shoulder, and bolts all down the side as he comes in, both of them wearing long, thick cloaks of a very strange grey-brown texture. Walk up. Voldra comes, nods at you all. You look ready to go.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd recommend us taking?
As long as you've got supplies to last you, there's not much in the way of spare food or resources down here, so...
Oh, do we need to buy rations again? Do we need to...
What was that guy said like 3 times?
No, we got some at the end of last session.
Okay.
We've restocked
Perfect.
till 10 each.
As long as you've got it, yeah.
In Dwarvish, I say to the one that we don't know, good to have you with us. Who are you? I'm Theren. This is Aubrey.
Who
That's
don't know?
Blue.
Nice to meet you. He sort of nods and gives you almost a bit of a limp handshake, but still like a solid one. The name's Theren Hammerest. I'm a fellow ranger. I do my best to keep Voldra here safe, but being frank, she keeps me safe more often than not. But pleasure to meet you.
Everyone, this is Theren.
Hi,
In
Theren.
common, very nice to meet you. I've heard about you, Aubrey and Blue.
That's me.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Voldra steps up. I assume you're all ready to depart.
Sooner we get this done, sooner the better.
Agreed.
Fantastic. The trip should take us 4 days, I would imagine, down. But I'm hoping, with our knowledge of the routes, we should be able to stay out of trouble. The aim is this. With the 2 of us, we are experienced underrangers. We can scout ahead, we can keep quiet. We will identify the tunnels to which there are problems and not, and then report back, whilst the other escorts you where we need to go. So if you ever see one of us disappearing and the other staying with you, you know what we're doing. If in doubt, you get injured, you get stuck, let us know. We'll attempt to help as best we can. There are safe points all along the route we're going on to until we get towards the end. The temple is very much off our regular paths. We'll be stepping off the dwarven highways and going to more natural location, but I'm hoping it should be fine.
Is there anything you can tell us about the temple at all? Any reports?
I have never been inside myself. The place has been known to us dwarves for some time, but whenever we show up for longer periods of time and attempt to get past the locked door, we invariably find the Duergar show up. They seem to either prize it or protect it in some way.
So
We're hoping we'll be able to sneak in.
So is that what happened before when you came into this artifact came into your hands? The door was open, or you?
One of our ranging parties managed to follow some Duergar in, get inside, and steal it from a very lightly protected patrol route. They were not expecting an ambush, so far away from our territory, we had the advantage at that point.
Smart.
Good to know.
Shall we?
Lead the way.
Wonderful.
Let's.
And you were led into the dark. The 2 of them have both sort of have gems. You can see they one of them on each. The person will stand with you, so they take it in turns. Sometimes Voldra, sometimes Theren. They alternate as to who is with you and who is away. You can see they always have their weapons drawn, always ready. But each of them with a rock. You can see a black, jagged rock that fits onto their belt, and with a sort of word and a stroke, the whole thing lights up into a very clean, even light as they make their way in. Torches are not needed unless you want to light up, but they provide the light for you. You can see the one that normally disappears off to go scout ahead will turn their light off and venture in, and they take it in turns, about half an hour. One will disappear out of sight, sneaking off ahead as you make your way down. Half an hour later you'll find them hidden, sort of nodding. The other one will disappear off and they'll do runs. After a few hours, after taking various turns and passages, left, right, down, right, it almost seems to be like there's more of the 3D aspect to your route than lefts and rights. You sometimes go down and rope under tunnels, round objects. There's not much sense to it that you can imagine, but every now and then at crossroads you might find one of them. The first one, Voldra, stands by the crossroads and whispers in Dwarven to you, Theren. The regular way. Yeah, we don't want to go that way. They're there.
How many?
He sort of looks up, just cave-dwelling creatures, large rats. Just, it's not worth going that way.
Understood.
We'll check the other route. And between you, you make your way into the dark. The first day, nothing occurs of interest. You are led deep into the dark. And eventually, as you're getting tired, your legs getting heavy, the new armor taking a toll on you, again, the wall is opened up in a location that you just haven't seen. And a safe space. This time not as big as the other one, only a single bunk bed. You can see 2 people to rest, a chair, a fire, but much smaller space than last time, as you were all locked in and rested for the evening. Mm. The pattern mostly stretches on in a very similar way. For the sake of expediency, you travel down and down and down. You can feel the temperature of the tunnels beginning to get slightly warmer, damper almost in a strange way, much more. The air presses on you. It has a sense of weight to it as you go down and down and down. The second day, again, apart from a couple of occasions, this time Theren stands at the T-junction, sort of looking at you briefly, a bit in Dwarven again, to Voldra, cave in, we need to go the other direction. And she goes, that's a bit of a detour, can we not, and they just, for 2-3 minutes, discuss routes. You can see they have the routes mapped in their head perfectly, and eventually they agree on an alternative route and they travel through. You can hear one of them muttering about, we'll have to get a clean-up crew in sometime. This is too far away.
As we're walking,
yes.
Whichever one is guiding us, Theren would like to ask in common.
Yeah. Be Theren at this point.
This war between you and the Dorogar.
Yes.
Who started it? How long has it been going?
That is a good question. There's no easy answer to that. I'm afraid I'm no history expert myself, but the Dorogar, they used to be brethren of ours a long, long time ago. Generations ago, beyond any linear structure of family tree that we have records of here. All we know is that at some point they dug and dug and dug, and then they were captured. These creatures. Have you ever heard of mind flayers? Make either a history or arcana check. You can all make it. This is a conversation you're all part of. Yeah.
13.
History check.
Yes.
Oh, for God's sakes.
You have one job.
An unnatural 1.
No, it didn't even help. That was a 4.
4, 1.
13.
13. Not really. None of you really understand.
Sam understands.
Yeah.
Creatures,
Not a
horrible
pleasant name.
creatures of the Underdark, but they took an entire Dwarven clan prisoner. For generations, slaves held against their will and experimented on. They escaped, but they were never the same. The Dorogar, we offered them companionship again. We offered them trade, but they were changed. They were hostile and saw nothing more than survival. They would raid trade envoys. They would break deals almost immediately after being signed. They seemed to have no other instinct than to survive. But, not to say that they're not capable. The Dorogar actually outnumber us 3-1 from what our scouts
So is it
suggest.
fair to assume they're winning?
It's not so much winning, they tend to stay down deep. There's probably 2,500 of us dwarves, there or thereabouts. The Durgar, there could be 8,000-9,000. They have a fortress below. We know where it is, but we can never get close to it. The scouts, the prisoners that have escaped, they tell us of a huge fortress made of dark iron and obsidian built into the great caverns below, well defended, layer upon layer of walls, traps, creatures that they enslave. They are a military race, the Durgar, and they are fearful creatures, but they know not to attack us directly. Even with their strong numbers, dwarven engineering being as it is, our traps and our defences are too strong. But that doesn't stop them raiding us.
Then I'd say at the very least, the world above owes you a debt for keeping them here.
And that is why we keep ourselves hidden, to an extent. If the Durgar knew of trade that we had with the surface, they would ambush that as well.
If you wish, I might be able to speak to someone about military aid to your people.
It's very kind. We tend to find that sometimes subtlety is the best way. Sometimes stationing troops tends to give away your location somewhat. But you were a capable swordsman. If they're more like you, then perhaps it's something to consider.
Much more, much better.
But anyway, and sort of presses forward, and again the pace starts to stretch, and quickly conversation becomes difficult as you march down the corridors.
Clank, clank, clank.
After a second night of resting in a similar rest stop bedded into the walls, you can see this one, the two of them take a little bit longer to find. A good 10 minutes of searching along a stretch of wall, but they think until one of them remembers something, a slight wrong turn. You trace back 10 minutes and eventually find your location. The third day, making good progress, the dwarven tunnels, you can see a T-junction and some stairs that dip down to the right as you descend. Again, the warmth, the humidity beginning to increase even more, and the tunnel stops effectively. The worked brickwork, the floor, the walls, the ceiling all begins to trail off, and eventually you make your way into naturally worked cavern. You can see a chasm spreading ahead of you, 70, 80 feet above you of darkness, stretching in random crevasses, fissures of the earth that you start travelling. You can see dirt has been impacted into the bottom of these chasms to create an even walking space as you walk round and further through natural fault lines, caverns. You follow dried up riverbeds. You walk past small subterranean lakes. At one point, Blue, you notice a lake, a sort of strange green shimmering colour to it. And Voldra grabs your arm, immediately pulling you away, saying, it's best not to linger.
Oh, okay.
The gases from that thing are highly poisonous.
Flammable?
I wouldn't want to try.
Okay.
Not with all this rock directly above it. And you're pulled away. The three of you are beginning to feel a little bit claustrophobic. It has been so long down in the dark with constant silence and oppressive. There's no breeze ever. Towards the end of the third day, the two of them, Voldra and Theren, they begin to get a little more frantically excited, a bit more impatient. The pace picks up a little bit. There's more chats between the two of them as though they're little interchanges. As eventually you make your way to another worked area. The chasm stretches before you into a small tunnel where the ground, again, that smell of damp is much more strong here. It's like mould growing on the walls, just little bits of green, tufts of it here and there, in the way that thick stone bricks have been laid into the ground with bits of mould between them, and a walkway, a tunnel 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall, stretches in front of you until eventually, about 80 to 90 feet in front of you, you can see dug into the walls around are columns stretching on either side of a door into the edge of the brick wall. You can see various elements. Volder and Theren have been scouting ahead. They're happy with it. There's nothing that they can see that they're sort of fine with. And they lead you towards it and they go, right, there's the entrance. Made our way here. Made good time, actually.
Very good.
Some very good survival checks from them. Very good survival checks.
All right.
We've made good time. This is the entrance. We will help you inside. We will go no further. There are risks for us here. If the Durgar see us snooping around this particular temple, they will likely become enraged and fellow kinsmen will be attacked. If that's not to say we won't assist where we can, getting you in.
We are deniable.
Exactly. We actually have other missions. We'll be spending some time in the local areas. This is not an area of the tunnel systems that we frequently go. This is closer to Durgar territory than our own. We will be mapping. Already we found several tunnels, wooded and blocked off. We'll be clearing them as we can, sending back reports. But we'll be in the local area. Blue, you had mentioned a few nights ago, after a couple of drinks, that you could send messages, correct?
Yes, I did say that. Yes, I can. There's, so I send it to you 25 words and then you can send it back to me 25. If we come across something that requires urgent communication, I'll get in contact if I can.
Fantastic. We won't be able to help you within the temple itself, but for when you know you're leaving, give us warning, give us word. We'll make our way back here. We will be no more than 24 hours away at any one point. That is the furthest we will go. Our route is fairly centrally localized around this area. And we will take you back up as quickly as we can. Fantastic.
Barrett, watch over you both.
Yes, and Zone, are you? They sort of sit back in the corridor a little bit. You can see Theren sort of this crossbow, very on edge, watching around, waiting for people to come. Voldra, you can see stretches forward. I'll show you the entrance. It's just here. I don't know if it'll be locked. I don't know if it'll be trapped. Are any of you capable at such things?
No.
We'll
figure it out.
Fantastic. She sort of leans on the wall about 30 feet away. Well, we'll see you in, and good luck.
Thank you.
Three of you.
Approach the
What
door.
would you like to do?
What does the door look like?
The door itself has been chiseled into the stone. You can see almost it feels like the door has been made of the wall itself behind. If it weren't for the large handle that's almost like a big knocker, has been sort of like a real... Oh, Fiona. Oh, come on now. Come now. We're
didn't
talking
even react
proper
to that
Muppets
one.
Christmas Carol style,
Oh,
huge
yeah.
brass thing. If it wasn't for that in the side of the wall, you wouldn't have noticed the door to start with. But the pillars, 5 foot wide each, on either side of the door, are the most noticeable things. You can see it feels like this whole tunnel has been dug out, and the pillars and the door and the archway, again, a big ancient design of a particular sort of style you're not familiar with. Make a religion check.
Ooh.
Nice.
Wow, you rolled properly in the tray.
Well,
And you got a decent roll.
I did really. 16.
16. Okay.
Didn't
You-
really roll.
Loved that, by the way.
The styling of the artwork here is not of a modern style that you recognise. It's not Perith, it's not Zarnor, it's none of the gods that you're familiar with. You would surmise that whatever god this is, the iconography here is of an old god, a forgotten god, one you're not familiar with.
Would it strike anything resemblance to Baluba?
Looking at it, it's difficult to say. You can see, rather than... There's no elephants per se, or no animals or creatures on this. It seems to be more slant figures.
Okay.
Very tall, thin figures, very expressionless, standing in various poses, and a few of them wearing masks of some kind.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's a bit, isn't it?
Well, shall I go try and open? Grab hold of one of those big knockers?
In the nicest way possible, Blue, and maybe...
You're trying so hard. I can tell. I can
Maybe.
see it in your face. The pain. The pain of your face. Fiona.
Yeah. Sure.
If anyone wants to wrap their hand around that big knocker...
It's quite a big one. You think you'd probably need both hands just to...
Lift and twist.
It should probably be Aubrey or I. Not that you're not incredibly talented, we're just a bit more durable.
I'm pretty puny.
Well, you're not puny at all.
I'm very doughy.
So this
Aubrey, are
knocker.
you okay?
this knocker.
Yes.
So you said it looks like similar to Muppets Christmas Carol. So is it like a head, or is it just like huge?
No, just a huge brass ring, effectively, that's been put into the back of this stone fissure, effectively. But it just feels like a very large, almost like a sort of crypt door, like a vault door,
and it doesn't
made
seem,
of stone.
And it doesn't seem. You said there was sort of iconography and all that, but
Yes.
there doesn't seem to be an inscription or text anywhere.
I mean, you'd have to go up and have a look if you wanted
Of
to.
course.
Perfect. So
I
that's
do that.
an investigation check.
Of course.
Nice.
Oh, that's a 19
A
total.
19. Okay. What are you two doing at this time, just out of curiosity?
Making
Blue.
knocker jokes,
Well, I was
clearly.
probably near the door to look at all the iconography, honestly.
Yep.
Theren, if these two are focusing on the door, will be looking the other way, making sure no Dora are coming with weapons ready.
Okay, perfect. Aubrey, you go up to the door, and as you approach, yes, on the door itself, there's it's a strange patterning actually all up the door. It's a very like a sort of weaving pattern. It's very difficult to focus. You sort of come up on it and you're trying to trace it, and then you hit it.
Don't hit the thing.
Walking about 10 feet from the front of the door, the shimmering that you thought was on the door
Fuck.
was not the door. It was about 10 feet away from the door, a large,
God damn it.
soft, jelly-like substance that you see Aubrey walk straight into
Fuck.
as the pain starts to burn
Ow.
immediately.
So annoying.
I'm going to take a break there. We'll come back to that in a second. Thank you very much. See you in a sec.
Can't believe it fell for it.
So, I'm stood up. Can you see me? I'm just
Oh,
about...
there you go.
Hello. Ha ha ha. So, we have a little map in front of us here. You can see at the far end, we're going to get you to point. We've got the door at the far end. And a little pointy down. We're just off the top. Hang on, let me just move this up here. There you go. Perfect. Right, so you've got the door right at the back there. As represented in big brown, we have, thank you Sam, a gelatinous cube at the back. You can see Aubrey in yellow right at the back there. Blue stood by the door.
Staring.
And Theren
Looking the other way.
coming up alongside. As represented by our favourite green goblin here is Theren with his crossbow pointed looking completely the other
I
way.
won't believe what they've just
I
done.
know, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet, just sort of along here, is Voldra in red, with her weapons just sort of leaning against the wall.
Someone's a
So,
badass.
Why couldn't I get
Yeah,
that
I
armor?
was gonna say, well, that's a badass.
exactly, the Space Marine,
Guys,
thus representing the dwarf as best as we could in the time
the
frame.
time,
we've
So,
hit a snag.
Aubrey,
Hello.
there's one thing you do see, I should
Okay,
point out, and
great.
Blue, you're very much interested in
Before
the
your
door.
vision goes.
Oh,
You miss it initially because of it. You were genuinely distracted by the door, and it's actually very difficult to see. To the left, as you approach the door, is another corridor that stretches about 30 feet to the left, as we're looking at it now. Very much camouflaged into the rock, the shade and the way the rocks fall, meaning that it's very difficult to see down until you're right there. But when you do see down it, there appears to be some objects down there. You can see various bags, various pieces of clothing, a weapon, a helmet, and something else shiny, some sort of bracelet of some kind. You can see all resting on the floor at the end. And actually, we've got
I was gonna say.
something for that. Hang on, where is it?
Where are your treasure
Here we
chests?
go. We'll put some treasure chests at the end
Oh,
of the
loot.
corridor.
Woo!
You can see just resting down at the end
Sorry.
Oh,
some treasure. However,
so looking to and fro.
I'd like everybody to roll initiative for me, please. Let's
Oh,
let me know what you get.
hey, I'll take that. Oh, actually, I will take that.
Oh, that's a
Oh.
whopping 0 on initiative there.
Yes.
Oh,
The big cube.
That is quite something. So, okay, and I think the 2 dwarves were both on, one was on a -1, but they have advantage. So this is a 18 for Voldra because she is awesome, and
Yeah.
then Theren has a bit more dexterity and gets a 21.
oh, well,
Yeah,
I know who's going first then.
perfect. So, Aubrey.
I got an unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20 for Aubrey. Okay, Theren.
Yes, for you.
Flat 10.
Flat 10. Theren.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And Blue?
14.
14.
It's like, what's going
For
on back
blow.
there? Nothing.
Cool.
Okay, and that has that.
Don't come
Okay.
over here and lecture me on anything.
Now, I just want to check something
Yes,
here. Blah, blah, blah,
tell
blah,
me.
blah, 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 blah. Transparent. Even when the cube is in plain sight, it takes a successful 15 perception check to spot the cube. It is neither moved or attacked. Creature that tries to enter the cube space while unaware of the cube is surprised
Funny that.
by the cube.
Ah!
And so we enter the surprise round. The
I'm not going to do
cube
that whenever it's a surprise.
at the back makes its way slowly forward
Yep.
into Aubrey's space.
Oh, shit.
Now, you are surprised,
I am.
so it engulfs you automatically, unfortunately, because you have walked straight.
Yeah, danger sense doesn't really
into
help
it.
me here. So.
Exactly.
You
So,
have danger sense!
I've never been able to use it before. It's not technically a trap. It's a creature.
so what does danger sense do?
It won't help me. It's like on dexterity checks. Or
No?
something. I don't think.
Just read it out, just in case.
I will.
Just in case. I'm not familiar with this new
No,
barbarian rule.
It's not new. It's like level 2. I got it.
Yeah.
Hang on. I didn't expect to be reading things. Okay. Danger sense. At level 2, you gain the uncanny sense that when things are nearby aren't as they should be. Giving you an edge when to dodge danger away. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws against effects you can see, such as traps and spells.
Not a dexterity saving throw, but that's fine.
Can't see it.
Okay.
It's like, shit.
So Aubrey, because you walked into it, in the
That's
surprise
Keep talking
round,
about that.
the cube, you start in the cube's turn inside the cube. So
Super.
you take 16 points of acid damage as you feel
Oh shit.
nothing on the armour or the weaponry of you, but your flesh
My hair.
begin to bubble. You put 39, do you mean 49?
That's what I meant, yeah.
You've got 10 more hit points than you remember, Aubrey.
Sorry, my bad.
Even she starts at 65 and now she's on 49. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. She could
Okay.
spend a whole day there and she'd be fine.
Oh, I don't think I could, but sure.
Exactly. And then a few things happen at once.
Oh, shit.
There's a movement. Blue, you see it down to your left by the treasure chests. And actually, as the treasure chests themselves start to move,
No.
you see a second figure start to drift towards. So starting within the space of where the treasure chests are now, it goes 15 feet towards, 5, 10, 15, and it pulls the treasure with it. All of these items, all of the loot, you realise was actually part of the second cube.
Oh, no.
And there
Shit.
is a scream as Theren, on the far end of the corridor, there's a
Oh,
squelch
Shit.
as represented.
By
Mr. Rabbit.
Oh, no. Oh,
Another cube
shit.
drops straight on top of Theren
Okay.
and traps him. So again, he's going to take. Oh, that's.
Well, Theron's gonna go.
This is
"Oh, he's
the
a
roll.
troll."
This is the roll I wanted on Aubrey. He takes 21 points of acid damage. He begins to just dissolve. This dwarf
Oh,
just
no.
gritting and grunting his teeth against his acid.
Not our new friend.
Does acid damage kill you outright? Or is it just the damage type?
What do you mean in terms of?
Like if you go to 0.
If you go to 0, no, it's the usual rules. But
Okay.
if you're still in the acid when you're unconscious, it's gonna start killing you quickly.
Cool.
As you see Theren just desperately clawing his way, steaming. Aubrey, you can see just like, you can already feel the lightning.
I don't.
Proactively. Theren is going to spend his turn because he moves first, but unfortunately he doesn't get his Underdark thing because he was surprised. He's going to try and make a strength check to get out and passes.
Yay.
So he pulls himself, gritting and screaming, out of the cube and to 5 feet alongside it. So he's still right next to the cube, but he gets out with his action. He's going, "There's one back here! There's one back here!" And he's loading his crossbow already as he sort of looks around and he goes, shit. And he moves 30 feet toward, 25 feet towards Voldra. So moving there. The cube behind him, you can see some of the jelly just slashes at him as a pseudopod makes its way out and tries to slap him. The natural one, it just swings over his head as the dwarf, already quite low to the ground, makes his way over towards you. Aubrey.
Hello.
It is your go next. So you are currently trapped inside this ooze. It's burning everywhere. Your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your legs. It's all in your clothes. You can just feel it starting to dissolve.
My nice new armour. My axe. Okay, I rage.
Rage. Perfect. The lightning crackles around you, lighting up the ooze in this fantastic display of colour as the lightning illuminates it from inside. You can see it arcing like one of those balls. Yeah, and he's like cracks around.
Okay, can it make a dexterity saving throw then? At 14.
I'm going to home rule this to say that it can't because you are inside it.
Hooray!
So roll the damage.
Oh, no.
1 point of damage.
That was her strategy all along.
The lightning crackling inside it. You can see it just slowly starts to burn inside. Little bits of jelly beginning to fuse.
Great strategy.
And I would like to now, question.
Yep.
Would you say I was at disadvantage if I attack inside the cube? Because I guess I'm restrained.
So while you are inside the cube,
don't die again.
Asking.
The engulfed creature can't breathe and is restrained.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, okay.
So you are restrained.
Right,
so as a restrained creature, because you not breathe, but it's like you can not breathe for like a minute plus as many minutes as your Constitution modifier.
Technically not underwater.
So like 4 minutes or something. You'll be fine. But restrained means your speed is currently 0. And your attacks against it have disadvantage.
What happened the last time you were in this situation?
I've never been inside a cube. Okay, I would like to use my action to get out of the cube then.
Perfect. You can make a strength check to try and get out.
With advantage.
With advantage.
That's good. That's like a... That was an 18. That was a 25.
25. You just pull yourself from this cube. It takes your entire go to rip yourself from the acid, but you're now 5 feet outside it. So just move yourself ever so slowly so we know you're separated. But that is your action, your movement, your bonus action.
Yes.
Because your movement was 0.
Brilliant.
Voldra looks at Aubrey. You're the one sort of in most danger. So it runs up. She runs up alongside Aubrey. And you can see with the axe and hammer, she just starts wailing into the side of this creature.
Right, well, we're just going to have to assume that she's
the cube's going to take over the whole thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. The hammer, natural 20, comes down. 1 on the dice.
Oh.
So that's 5 damage. The next one hits. That's another 6 damage. And then with the offhand weapon, she makes 1 more attack. Natural 20.
Hey!
6 on the dice that time, so 12, 15, 27. She's wailing onto the side of this cube, just smack, smack, smack. Huge chunks of jelly being obliterated left and right as the axe carves in. The hammer just impacts the side, ricochet. You can see almost like you'd imagine something hitting into the side of a very obese person, right? They're just all the way around. As she spends her turn just wailing on this creature. Blue.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Looking round.
You can see the second cube now starting to drift towards you from the other side. You can see the third one from the screams of where Theren was standing, but he's rushing up to where you and Theren are. What would you like to do?
I am going to... How high were the ceilings?
About 10 feet. And you can actually see the cube itself almost stretches to the roof.
You knew what I was going to do, didn't you?
I don't know what you mean.
It's like 1 foot underneath.
No, okay.
You could get over, but it would be a tight squeeze, and you don't know to what extent the cube could move.
Okay.
I'll make it fair for you. You don't know.
Right, okay, in which case I will cast Fairy Fire
Oh, Sam.
on... so it's a 20-foot cube.
Yep.
So each of these is 5 foot?
Yep, each of these squares are 5 feet.
So if I do it there, when it moves into it, will it be effect? No, it's when it first
I think
gets hit
when it
by
first gets hit, so you just bring it back a little bit.
I'll do it to there.
Perfect. What have I got to do?
You have got to make a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw. This will be a laugh. -1.
This one is very visible and glowing now.
Yeah, the fairy fire just literally starts landing on top of the cube. It starts to be dissolved as the fire goes down, but you can now see the perfect outline of the cube drifting down the corridor towards you.
Nice. And then I will go...
Action.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Perfect.
And bonus action, inspire Aubrey.
In the temple, the stony temple, Aubrey kills tonight.
Yay.
That's
the stony temple.
I love it.
That's awesome. I love it.
Okay.
That's the best I can come up with this week.
I love it.
Okay. The first cube
Which one?
starts to make its way into the corridor, moving 15 feet towards you. It begins to enter into the space that Aubrey and Voldra are standing in.
Yep.
I would like you to make a dexterity saving throw, and you can make it with advantage because this is something that you can see. So your danger sense is very much on point here.
Oh, good. 17.
17. 11 for Voldra.
Oh, no.
So it moves 15 feet forward. So bring the cube forward. Aubrey continues to be 5 feet behind it, effectively. So like it doesn't go through it, but she's stood now next to Theren, effectively.
Oh no.
Yeah, why didn't we move Aubrey first?
No.
Fiona, you've just savaged that beautiful construction.
So Aubrey is now there.
What? Why am I there?
Yeah, what's going
Next
on
to
here?
Theren. Yep,
Yep.
perfect. The cube has now made its way in a little bit.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realise I'd moved. I thought I didn't move because my speed was 0.
But because you haven't been swallowed by it, you remain 5 feet
Oh,
away from it.
I get
so
you.
it pushes you
It's
back.
pushing me back. Right, I see.
And with dexterity, you stop yourself from getting
Being
involved.
swapped in
It's
and
enough.
and then
You still have enough
She's
movement too.
inside.
it.
And then Voldra is inside it.
I thought that.
Okay, on a failed save, the person enters the creature's space, and Voldra starts to take acid damage as she begins to dissolve ever so softly. 10 points of damage.
Me.
As you can see, Voldra starts to grit her teeth. Get it off me! Starting to sort of thrash against it. Theren.
Okay.
You turn round. What the fuck?
And then Morby just
You can see
glances.
very much like in a film, like both sides are now beginning to just slowly creep up on you.
I just imagine glances to his right, sees Aubrey and goes, "Why do you look like you've been burned?"
No, not now.
Right. Okay, so he's gonna say, "You two take care of this one. I'll take the one at the end."
No worries.
And I know I'm gonna take an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Just gonna take it.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
And gonna move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
But there's a 10 to hit.
That's not gonna do it, I'll be
exactly,
honest.
just swishes out. You move too rapidly, and with momentum, you make your way through.
And
So, movement.
Yep, that's my full movement. This is affected by Fairy Fire up to here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then Eldritch Blast. And because I have advantage, I now have super advantage.
Oh.
Perfect. Roll those attacks.
Right. 15.
Oh,
natural
natural 20.
20.
Natural 20
On the first one.
for the first
Okay.
one.
And 14. 15.
Okay, both hit.
Okay,
One with
right.
crit, so roll your crit damage first.
Crit.
Can I borrow another D10, please?
Yeah. Is that a D10?
That's a D10. Thanks, man. 11 damage.
11
First
damage, yep. Second
And-
beam,
1.
1 damage. Okay, the sword slashes through the air, familiar black and green energy crackles out of the blade, striking the cube, still illuminated by the fairy fire as it wobbles and takes the impact, but it still is coming forward. It's like hitting hitting a wave. It just continues to make its way forward, but you
Cool.
get a couple of hits in.
And that is me for this one.
That is you for this one. Okay, no bonus actions?
Not right now.
Perfect. Okay, the cube on the left will make its way forward.
Oh
This
no.
one?
Coming
Not
through.
a super cube.
Exactly, it makes its way all the way through. It can't get past the other one. It's too big and they sort of push against each other. But the pseudopod from the corridor just stretches out and attacks Aubrey.
Oh.
You're not reckless this
No,
turn, are you?
not this turn.
That's only a 13 to hit
Oh,
you.
that doesn't hit, no.
It doesn't hit. No, exactly. It just slaps against the side. You manage to catch it in the side of your armour and splashes off without any damage being done.
Nice.
Okay, the one at the back of the corridor makes its way 15 feet towards Theren. So, bloop, bloop, bloop. It can't quite get to Theren,
Rabbit, no.
but again, a pseudopod will slash out as it tries to flex itself at you, this time the top of it, reaching over and trying to just slap you with some of its acidic juices. There's a 20 to hit.
That is my armor
That
class.
is your armour class.
Yeah.
I did not think I would hit you at all.
Neither did I. I'm quite impressed, I'll be honest.
Quite exceptional. That's 13 points of acid damage as it slaps you. You can feel it just coming through like the neck of your armour, your face. It just burns slightly. And you manage to get most of it away with the shield, but still creeps in and starts to burn in a very horrible sensation. Theren, sort of looking around, he'll sort of back up 5 feet towards Aubrey a little bit, but really just standing put. He goes, and you can see him just sort of focusing and going, right, attack that one, and he crossbow bolts the one closest to me. You can see the crossbow flying through, and you can see he seems to have sort of almost focused on this to an extent.
Hope so.
That hits somehow, and I think a heavy crossbow is a D10.
I can find
I
out.
think it's a D10. Pretty sure it's a
So
D10.
I believe so.
I thought you
Yeah.
had a heavy crossbow at one point.
Boop.
I
That is
did.
8 points
I
of
will.
Get it back,
damage.
yeah.
As the bolt thunks into it, you can see him reloading the crossbow, desperately trying to load it quicker. As he sort of looks around, and he loads it, he quickly just from the side of his belt just flings a knife. A dagger comes out and
Oh.
flings it because you can't multi-attack with a crossbow. That hits, and then a dagger is a D4. Boop. That is 5 points of damage. So again, the weaponry just being flung at this cube as it just thunk, 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 and the bolts seem to hit into the cube and then just hold, and then just sort of it keeps coming forward. You can see each attack still floating as it hit. The grey energy almost seeped in various places where Theren's strike hit. Aubrey.
It's me. I would like to reckless 2 attacks, Great Weapon Master on the one that's holding Baylor.
Voldra.
That's the one.
Yes,
I don't
you
know why I
may.
said.
So
The old lady.
reckless, great weapon
Wrong
master.
person.
Make those attacks.
Okay, so the first one is.
Nice.
Hang on.
A lot.
It's 21.
Yeah, that hits.
And then the second one is only 15.
That hits. Yeah.
Nice.
It's alright.
I'm gonna just say this now. It's gonna be tough to miss these things.
I know, so.
They have an AC of 6.
You say that, but some of us walk into them.
So what was the damage?
Give me 1 second. So it's 15 plus 5, 22 on the first one.
Nice.
22 damage. Jesus Christ.
11, 18 on the second one.
18.
Even with a 1 on the dice.
Okay, Aubrey just takes huge swipes out of this cube. You carve entire sections of it. As it reaches and recoils and comes to attack you again, you just hook upwards. lopping huge chunks of it off. The thing looks almost like a third of its initial size. Still with Voldra in it, he's desperately trying to duck out of the way as you're carving around her, but this thing looks minuscule compared to how it did initially.
Sounds good.
So it's your action.
Yes.
Anything else you want to do? You're moving?
I'm
or you're staying
going to move
there?
back to where that guy is.
Okay, it's going to take an attack of opportunity.
Bring it
against you.
with, and it's got advantage.
With advantage. That is 17 to hit.
Oh, that's my new armor class. No.
That's a shame, isn't it? 6. 12 points of acid damage. As again, it slaps you and it burns as you sort of getting away. You get the sense that getting close to these creatures is always going to have a bit of risk to it. But back you go.
Alright, I'm ready.
Voldra, sensing that this creature is much more damaged than it used to be, she is going to actually. Did that one move? No, it hasn't moved yet. She's just going to attack from inside it. She's not going to try and get out. So
she's doing an Aubrey.
She's doing an Aubrey.
With disadvantage. First one hits.
Oh.
Second one hits.
Well, the armor class is 6. You're going to hit, but it's
Third one is a natural 1. So 2 of them hit.
take that back.
So you can say that's 6 points. 10 points. So 16 points
Just
total.
this fucking cube.
Oh, it's a 1 health.
Oh,
She's
come on.
just slashing and slashing and slashing. But she hasn't quite got up. It's just like hooked around her and still moving. Can barely move right now as you can see its form desperately trying to cling itself together. You think it's on the sense of just the point of folding, but it's still burning into her. She grits her teeth, swinging around. Blue, it is now your go.
She's still in the thing,
She's still in the thing.
but it's looking weak.
It's very weak.
I'll finish it off.
I'll turn.
Are you going to mock it to death?
Well, I don't know if it can
Can
hear
understand.
me.
Oh, I don't
It
know.
doesn't have to understand me, but I think it
Does
has
it
to
have ears?
Okay, so I'm going to run up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and take a swing
Yep, go for it.
with
With your weapon.
That's
That'll do it.
18
Yay.
plus whatever.
Right, you kill it.
Yeah!
So you immediately you come in and just slice, and it starts to repel itself again, and then just like someone bursts a bubble, liquid just splashes onto the ground around your feet. As you can see, Voldra just as the second one is coming in. But yes, your first attack. You've got extra attack now.
5.
Yep.
Am I close enough to hit that one?
Yep. You can make
Come
an
on,
attack.
Sam,
Swing.
get another.
Do it.
Oh!
And then
No, this time you come with the second swing of your thing. You almost trip as you go, and ching, your weapon splats against the side of the wall, sparking as it goes, and you go, shit.
I'll take the opportunity to attack, but go 6, 7, 8. 8 because when I hit something, I get 40 speed instead of 30 speed.
Perfect.
Something I'm trying to remember.
Wow.
Okay, that's a 14 to hit.
Does not hit.
That would have hit you before. It slaps into the wall where you were. This time a much bigger tendril just slaps into like acid, just dissolving the wall, running down it. There's a smell like a metallic, almost like a sort of static smell as it starts to just seep into the moss and burning the organic material of the moss just instantaneously, cleaning it up.
And then bonus action, I'll inspire Voldra.
Yep.
I said Baylor, I'm so sorry.
Which I have a hand to you.
Thank you very much.
And
You can't use it till you say something.
Voldra wouldn't want to be here right now because you're about to get eaten by that thing, but I believe in you.
It's the I believe in you bit that's the most
I believe in
important. Fantastic. Okay. That one is now dead. Theren.
Close melee range on this thing.
Yep. You easily make the distance as it starts to approach you. You can see now it looms over you as you go.
Giant bunny rabbit.
Hexblade Curse.
Okay, perfect. The shadowy energy almost seems to ripple around the fairy fire that's still on it. And just, I don't think there's not a save against fairy fire, is there? Every turn.
It's just
no, it's just the first time, and it doesn't. I've read it a bit more, and I don't think it.
No,
needs to be
perfect.
in the
That's
area
fine.
anymore, so.
I mean, honestly, it's got -4 to its dex save, so I mean, it's gonna be.
It's 20s. Get those 20s.
Right. So you make the distance. You close the energy around it.
Yep. And I am going to attack it.
Perfect.
Yay.
Make your attacks.
Do you want 3?
I would like 3, thank you. That is...
Going to
Is
hit.
it above 6?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Tell me if it's a critical hit, effectively.
Okay. I'm going
First
to roll
attack
for
hits.
the other one as well.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, that's gone forever. Do you want to roll again?
it bounced out. That's what happened.
Yeah.
It did.
Do you want to roll one
Yeah,
of those
I do.
again? Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
It hits.
Yeah.
It
No,
hits.
no crit.
Both hits? Okay, fine. So you start slashing into this thing.
And I am going to smite as well. Because I have 2 attacks,
Yep.
that only will make 1 attack smite, or will it be both?
You can smite both if you want.
No, but will that... I mean,
Oh, each spell slot is 1 smite.
thank you.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it only
so I'm
applies
just
both.
going to do the smite with 1, so
Yeah.
that would be...
That would be good if you could smite multiple times, yeah.
6,
7.
7, 14 plus 14, 24 damage.
24 points of damage.
And
As Bear Claw carves through this thing, leaving a trail of white flames as it carves through.
also, on extra attack, do I add my plus again to that one? Okay, yep, so, and that's another 13.
Another 13 points of damage. Again, Theren, you just stand your ground, carving as it comes towards you. You just cleave bits off. It's still approaching. You think it's about to engulf you, but you get huge chunks out of this thing before it does.
Does it look like it's about to engulf me, or is that just flavour?
It's coming towards you. It's making its way through.
If it's affected by fairy fire in a minute.
Yep.
It will still be when it's out.
Yeah, I've just looked
Okay,
it's fine.
then what I'm going to do is use the rest of my movement to pull back here and take the opportunity of attack.
Okay, you will attack.
Hit him.
That's a 21 to hit.
That'll do it.
Man, these pods.
Wow.
These pods will do it. Ooh, that's not bad as well. No, 10 points of acid damage again,
Okay.
just slapping onto you.
Ooh.
Catches your back. Almost as it seems to sort of fall apart from your impacts, it just falls on top of you, splashes all across your back, dissolving away. But that'll take your turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this cube, the one on the left, it's going to make its way into the corridor, 5 feet, into
Oh my
Voldra
God.
space, and then it is going to start coming this way, 10, and then 15.
Oh, man.
So Voldra gets pushed back with it. She can make a dexterity saving throw,
With inspiration.
which she is going to use.
Come on.
That is a 1 on the inspiration. She still gets 11. She fails.
Oh, no.
She is not a dexterous dwarf, unfortunately.
Damn it, Voldra.
She just gets taken up again as it grits her teeth as the acid splashes into her. But I don't think anyone else is in range right now. So that is 6. 10 points of acid damage. Again, as she's just gritting her teeth against the pain of it as it makes its way forward. The one closest to me, again, starts to make its way 15 feet. 5, 10, 15.
No.
Is it just a little bit further forward? I couldn't quite...
I think it was sort of here, wasn't it?
Wasn't it on this
I
one?
think it was on this one.
As long as
5,
it's
10, 15.
Right, fine, perfect. Okay, so it makes its way through. The pseudopod only has a reach of 5 feet, so it doesn't quite reach. It doesn't quite reach. Oh, that's close. That's so
It's
close.
almost like you moved the exact distance away that you wanted to.
It's almost like I planned that.
Okay. We go down to Theren, who, seeing Voldra trapped inside the creature, he's going to just fire his crossbow into it, which will hit, and then a dagger, which also hits. So that is one of these and one of these. Boop.
The old
That is
classic
5,
crossbow
9,
dagger technique.
15
well.
points of damage.
Classic 1, 2.
And again, the weapons just
Well,
thud into the side of this creature as he moves backwards and backwards, just edging back, going, shit, we're trapped. Just throw everything you've got. Aubrey.
Well, I will throw everything I've got as a reckless break weapon master on both attacks, please.
Do it. Let me know if you get any crits.
No, that's it's only, it's an 11, so that will hit that one.
Okay, that'll hit. Again, it's got armor class of 6, so unless you get 2 natural ones,
That's another 11. So
no, roll your damage.
rolling the damage. So 17 plus 5 plus 2 is 24,
24 points of damage on that cube.
and then 24 again.
24 again. Okay, Aubrey just carving into this creature. Bam! Bam! As it just gets tacked away, the acid splashing. It still comes forward, but it's looking pretty rough right now. So that's your action.
And bonus action. I'm going to stay where I am.
Perfect. So it goes now down to Volja. She, not wanting to take any more damage, is going to try and escape.
Smart.
And doesn't. She remains trapped within the acid.
One job.
And that is her
I
turn.
inspired you!
Blue.
Hit the one that's got Volja.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
19 plus whatever.
Yep, hits.
And
Go on.
where's that? Oh, there we go. That will be
8.
13 points of damage.
Okay.
13 points of damage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got 2 attacks.
Extra
Right.
attack.
The weapon strike pierces into it. You can see it getting weak.
Go on.
9 plus whatever.
Yeah, it hits.
Oh.
6 points of damage.
6 points
Hey
of
man,
damage.
it all adds up.
It just swag. This thing now beginning to fall apart, but it's still coming forward.
Okay. And then I'll inspire myself. I'll say, I'm here to chew ass and kick bubblegum, and I'm all out of ass.
Blue, when this is over, we need to talk.
You feel inspired. You're ready to chew some ass and kick some bubblegum.
Certainly am.
Right.
Bubblegum.
Is that your go?
Yep.
Perfect. Theren.
Again, move into melee range
With...
with this
Rabbit.
Yeah, okay.
one, and I am going to hit it.
Do it.
Hit it.
Triple. Oh,
That
Oh,
first
that
one's
was
a crit.
wondering.
Right. Crit.
Second one, I've got to do that. Second one's a
2
crit.
critical hits. Here comes Theren. Right. So so the far
So
one.
I'm doing the Hamlet question in my head now. If I smite it, it's probably dead.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be
Up to you.
burning a long-term slot.
Up to you.
Yeah, I'll fucking smite it.
Yeah, no, right.
Right.
You've got
cool.
critical hits, remember?
Yeah, I know.
Do you
Wait.
need?
Yes.
Well, they've got a fair bit of health.
We've all given it a good go.
I can't remember how many times I've hit that one. Is the only thing.
Theren has hit it. You've hit it.
Yeah, you're right. It has been hit quite a bit.
What are you doing?
Can I borrow a D8? So I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'll just do regulars.
Regulars?
Regulars.
Alright.
Okay.
Ooh.
First one is 28 damage for the first attack.
28 damage. Yep. Hits.
Second
Oh
one
no, that's just 28. Yep. Cool.
is that is 11.
Yeah, it's dead.
22.
The thing, it just gets obliterated as you hit, and again it just vaporizes.
Cool. Okay. I get hit points back.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the end of my turn.
Are you gonna move?
Is there room here to get melee
past.
range?
Oh, to get in melee range, it
Or is
begins
it
to
being
get
blocked?
tough. You can move into ally space. Yes, you can approach to get into melee range if you want.
Okay. Then yeah, Theron's
Okay,
gonna get
you're
as
in
close to
melee
that
range.
thing as possible. Try and make himself a target.
That's fine. Okay.
Come here, you big
The
piece
creature,
of ooze.
on its last legs, it begins to make its way forward.
Ah.
And it engulfs all 4 of you
Fuck.
as it moves across into the corridor, just coming forward. So,
Steamrolled.
I would like the 3 of you to make dexterity saving throws for me. And I will make one for Theren, who passes, so he doesn't get engulfed. But let me know what you get on your dexterity saving throws.
18.
18.
21.
21.
Okay, so it would have been an 8,
Yep.
but I gave myself inspiration, so it's 16.
Wow, right, your pass. 8 would have engulfed you. Oh
Nice.
man, I couldn't get any of you, so you just all just go back up as this thing comes forward. Unfortunately for you, Volja inside
Yeah.
is still being burnt. That's 8, 13, 26 points of damage. As you see Volja just go and then just go still, as you can see her flesh bubbling and boiling, and then blood starts to come out of her mouth and eyes and ears as she just, she goes unconscious. That is Thorin's go. He's just, Volja, Valdra! And he just starts hacking away with the dagger in his fist, just dropping the crossbow to the ground as he attacks. Both hit.
Come on.
That is 6 points. Yeah.
Be the hero we need
Yeah, it's looking rough. He's just stabbing and stabbing and stabbing. The weapon not very effective, but still clawing chunks in this thing. Aubrey.
Yep. Reckless Great Weapon Master, both attacks.
Do it.
Get rid of
Let
it.
me know if one hits.
If one hits. Yeah,
Correct.
that
Yeah,
hits.
you killed it. Right.
It's gone.
Okay. With a final swing of like a BAM, it just annihilates the cube, and again falls splashing down the contents of it, including Valdra just thumping into the ground and hitting down.
Are we out of initiative or?
It would technically be
Still initiative.
Valdra's turn first. She is going to make
Death saving throw.
a death saving throw. Okay. Blue.
Does she look like there's part of her in there?
Make a medicine
What
check.
does it matter? Cure wounds,
I've
level
got
1.
lay on hands, so you might as well save it.
He's done it.
Yeah.
That's very kind.
Roll for health.
Okay. That's 10 points for health.
10 points of health. Okay. With Philip coming out, she just suddenly goes and just spits out acid and blood. You can see just from everywhere her skin is bubbling. You can see already forming calluses where the healing is just scarred over the wounds immediately. It smells rancid, but you bring life back into her. She grabs you, just sort of reflexively just and drops back and goes, "There's more. We safe."
We got them.
Let's
We
see
got
all
it.
of them.
Actually, can I look to see if there's any more?
Make a perception check.
I'd like to join him in that if I may.
You make a perception check.
8.
19.
19.
We're safe. I can't see any.
Theren, from the corner of your eye,
No.
you see nothing.
We are safe, he's right.
What did you have to say that?
You didn't really look around, Blue, you just kind of yelled it.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to look
That-
there.
Look,
look.
then say.
Check, then that's
Too late,
it.
we're done.
Fantastic.
Oh.
So,
Are you okay, Boulder? Do you need any more help?
I'll be alright. I'll be alright.
Okay.
Just let's get somewhere safe. She gets herself up. You can see Theren just sort of leaning her up. They both look fairly badly burnt, but Valdra especially so, as they limp out of the corridor back into the sort of main chasm, where looking around they temporarily just sort of find themselves like a corner, hidden amongst a couple of large pieces of rock that they sort of fall behind and start to basically have a short rest, effectively.
That's not a bad idea.
What would the three of you like
I
to
think we can
do?
all do with sit down right now.
I could do a bubble.
Let's look at what's in these.
In
what
the
was in these
chests.
crates. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I'll look in the chests.
Yeah, I will too.
Okay. So they're not really chests; they're just things.
Broken
But
bits of it,
it-
yeah.
it's
Just
it's
bits
a
of
collection of pieces of equipment. There's various sort of odd pieces of armor, weapons. There's a longsword. You find there a helmet that looks pretty battered and broken. It's not of any value particularly.
Half dissolved.
Yeah, like an odd boot. You see, but there's a couple of things that you find. You find shining amongst the sort of dissolved elements of where this cube was, a set of braces, a beautiful brass golden colour, gleam to them, intricately woven. You would sort of put around your forearm on both sides. You can see one of them especially large and tough with a large flat area along one side that shine. You also... No, that's all you find there, of value. Everything else seems to have been food supplies, but everything organic has dissolved and is gone. So you can see the wrappers of where food would have been kept, but nothing there.
Litter
The braces,
everywhere.
do they look magical at all? Or?
It's very difficult to tell. Make an Arcana check. Are you proficient in Arcana?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to tell. You can try.
No.
Nope.
It was almost a 20, but it
No.
wasn't.
No.
It's very difficult to say. They look beautifully ornate.
The armour, the kind of semi-dissolved, does that look Draugr?
Ooh, that's a good
Size.
question. Make a history check.
Do you mean Durgar?
Durga.
Draugr.
The
Skywalker.
zombies in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Ah, same thing. No.
No. Oh,
Nice.
History 18.
18. No. Doesn't look like a Durgard. No, the armor looks like a taller creature.
Ah, it could be the Slender Men.
Why would
Yeah,
you say that?
it's difficult to say. There's no almost sort of humanoid, a taller creature.
Okay, so
You
not,
can't
not
tell.
necessarily.
No, it's too badly damaged to get too much more than that. But no, not Droga.
Durgar.
I'm winding him up.
I'm going to really
Draugr.
struggle with that.
Durga.
Right. Yes, Blue, you said something about doing that thing you do.
The bubble.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll let them...
Do we want to do it in the middle of this corridor?
No, I was going to do it with the other guys.
Outside the corridor. That's easy enough to do. You find some space. You can
Okay.
the bubble going up. I imagine you sort of paint it camouflaged into the walls. Keep it opaque. And yeah, you can have a short rest.
Yes, please.
I would like one of you, however, to make a perception check as you lead the watch.
I'm
To
happy
see if
to
you
do
can
that.
spot anything coming.
I'll do that.
It's the most wise.
Didn't see the fucking ooze, did I? Ooh, okay, that's 18. It's not too bad.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So. You don't notice anything.
Sweet.
It's nothing.
Yeah, this is more ooze. I'm just surrounded
Exactly.
by it.
Every now and then you feel like you can feel the breeze move or some sort of movement, but it turns out to be more somebody lifting a bag and just displacing the air around. It's very still.
Long rest is an extra d6, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so as long as you roll one hit dice, you get an extra d6.
Yeah. Damn it.
So mark those hit dice off. You should have 6 of them now.
Yeah.
Theren, you have 5 d10s and 1 d8.
Thank you. So that's 10, 12,
Inspiration back,
14,
which is amazing as an ability.
It is. It's pretty good.
47.
Can I cast Identify, or would I not spot that they're magical? Or
You can do what you want.
can I cast
Identify as a
on
ritual
the
spell.
races?
If you want a short rest, you'd have to do it after the short rest.
I don't need a short rest.
Don't need a short rest. Okay, yeah, cast
But then
Identify.
I wouldn't get Bardic Inspiration back, and I really want that, so I won't do that.
You're taking a short rest?
Yeah, I'll do it afterwards.
Okay, you'll take a short rest then. Fine. So do it afterwards.
Yep.
As long as you're willing to wait 10 minutes. But you can see quite quickly, Zolder and Theren, they begin to get restless.
Okay.
Having applied various salves and herbal agents to their wounds, you can see they've patched themselves up. Blisters have been sort of scraped away and cleaned over. They put various pieces of cloth scarving around wounded areas, and they sort of grip themselves up. Right, well, we're going to make our way before anything else comes out.
Yeah.
The Durgar do keep a presence in this area. Patrols are likely at some point. We don't want to hang around for any longer than we have to.
No, thank you.
You're very welcome. Good luck, and remember, let us know when you're ready.
Are you sure you're alright?
Yes, we're used to scrapes like this. Oozes, unfortunately, are a
Yeah.
common problem.
Oh.
We're too... we were so desperate on looking at the Durgar, we just totally missed.
Yeah.
Them.
It can happen to anyone. Yeah.
You
Sort of
ooze, you lose.
You're tough, you know? You're very tough. You do well down here.
Thank you.
Sort of nods.
That's a point. How did you come across that one? I was looking the other way.
Oh, I just spotted it with my keen danger sense.
I was watching, she walked into
Blue!
Sorry. But it was hard to see, I didn't spot it. If I'd gone for the door, bloop.
Could have happened then.
Just be happy it happened to me. I'll storm off towards the door.
Okay, let's have a look at this door.
What does she mean by that? That was weird. I don't know. Is she alright?
Yeah, I think.
Clearly fine.
How are you going on with this? The bracing.
Oh, yeah, do you want me to spend 10 minutes doing it now, guys? Or should we keep...
I've left the bubble. I'm going to go see the door.
Do you see the door?
Yeah, I'm going to see the door. Well,
Okay, I'll stop, and if something kicks off, I'll stop.
Okay.
Oh,
Fantastic.
You're safe in here. I'll go with her.
So, Aubrey, as you're getting that,
Can I just make a stop just in case there is another cube from the
perception check.
Nope, that's a 4.
You're pretty sure there's no cube.
Sweet. I like the idea that I've stopped just as Theren's going out as well, and I'm like, carry on.
You don't stop. You see him coming, and your pride takes over, and you just walk.
Walk straight into it.
Exactly.
Theren goes, now are you sure there aren't any
fine.
more?
No, I think it's.
Do you want me to have a look?
No, I don't need you. I don't need your keen elf eyes. It's fine. Let's look at this door.
Half elf, but alright. Can I have a look anyway?
So what are you looking for? Perception check?
Yeah.
Looking for more oozes.
Which half?
No, that's also shit.
No, she's
6.
begrudgingly. You think she's right. There's nothing here.
First time you've agreed on that. Right, you want to look at this door with me?
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Perfect. So, make an investigation check, the two of you, as you palm over the door.
I'm guessing my inspiration. Actually, no.
Natural 20.
After the hour, unfortunately.
All the
It's an hour, of course, yeah.
Natural 20, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Well, we'll see what
5.
Aubrey gets. No, 5. So, Aubrey, you're just still pissed off.
Yeah,
You're
I'm really angry.
Just now it's been brought up again. Theren, you take some time.
Stop pacing, I'm trying to think.
You're
And
giggling about knockers.
you grab the knocker in your hand. It's heavy. It's heavy.
Do I have to double hand it?
You lift it. You feel like it turns. But it's stuck. It's not moving. The thing is locked. But you, with a natural 20, that you start to sort of trace up and down it. And actually, as you're wiggling the handle itself around, there's a certain clicking of the mechanism inside. Just as it gets to a certain point, you can hear it resting upon something. And just coincidentally, as you're moving it, there's a click just in the wall to the left, and it twigs that there's quite possibly something connected to this lock, something potentially that might open it. Some sort of external switch of some kind.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I will follow to where I heard the sound from and check out that area.
Okay. The sound itself just came from the sort of pillared area to the left of you.
Yeah.
With a natural 20, as you're looking around, there's nothing there. The noise sort of indicated that it goes off in that direction, but you don't know how deep into the stone it goes.
Right.
And there's no keyhole or anything like that, from what we can see.
No keyhole.
Okay.
By this point, I should say the dwarves have now disappeared. Assuming you don't want to be in pitch darkness, I'm assuming that you light a torch.
I'll
Blue, you are, whilst you're in the bubble, the light is cozy and warm.
Oh yeah.
You're like,
As long as you stay in the bubble, you're fine.
yeah, I've got a torch.
Actually, Blue, as you are identifying, they are magical.
Knew it.
So these are braces of archery. So,
Good for our group.
I was literally about to say these.
wondrous item, uncommon, requires attunement. I'll get you a card for next time. While wearing the braces, you have a proficiency with the longbow and short bow. And you gain +2 bonus to damage rolls on ranged attacks made with these weapons.
That could be alright.
That would actually be really good for me because my blade flourishes do actually apply to ranged weapons as well.
I'm fine with you having them.
But
Yeah,
argument.
Yeah.
But me keeping my distance might be.
I am absolutely fine with you taking up the longbow.
Yeah, but
Fuck the sword! It's new toy now!
Hey guys, I found this. It does this. Would either of you be interested, or are you happy if I use some? Me use some? Great, thanks.
Yes, it might be an idea. Oh, he's already put them on.
Perfect.
What I would
it
like
would
to
take
do,
a long rest to attune to them, but
Yeah, but you've got them on for now.
It'll take me a long rest. Let's put them in the bag for now, just in case I die.
it's quite possible. So,
This is the voice from nowhere.
what would you like to do? Theren?
that's quite
I'd like to check out this place.
Yeah, the corridor on the other side.
Yeah.
It's another investigation check. What are you looking for particularly?
That is a 19, and I'm kind of so. This is the wall,
Yeah.
right? I want to kind of follow it down, see if there is anything that might link up to what I heard and the clicking.
Perfect. That's a very good description. As you go down the wall,
Felt like
about
it's better,
hand
but sure.
height, maybe a little bit lower. The smaller creatures potentially. You notice an indentation in the wall, a piece of rock that when you grab it seems to and there's a click from the door.
Great. I walk back, try the knocker again.
It opens. Crunk! And again, with the weightlessness you'd associated with structures down here, the door swings open into the darkness and essentially down into a further tunnel that stretches into the darkness in a very similar way to the corridor that you're currently stood in, 10 feet going down, as if this door was just put in the tunnel, effectively, like it stretches on.
Oh, I see.
Regardless.
Right.
Looks like that's our way to go.
Yep. Excuse me.
Ready?
Okay.
Yep.
Alright.
I'd like a marching order, please.
Guess I'm
TVA?
TVA.
TVA, my guys. Very good.
Yeah.
Theren Blue Aubrey. Fine. So you will make your way. Now, are you moving stealthily? Are you moving regularly?
I'm just picturing Iron Man 1 where he's wearing the big suit running through the caves. That's essentially what we're doing.
Yeah, perfect. You make your way down.
We're not
Yeah, we're
stealthing.
not even
So,
going to bother.
Who's got the light? By
I can have it at the
at the
back.
back.
You can
I
see.
can see.
Perfect. And you're standing 5 feet away from each other?
Yeah.
Great.
Sure.
So, you make your way down the corridor. I just start throwing these questions in. Genuinely,
And are you
that
tied
question
together?
was for no reason, but you just keep asking these things. It makes them get all
Then you do
nervous.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's what you want.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, you make your way down this corridor for another sort of half an hour. It just continues, swerves left softly, right softly, and then starts to descend down the stairs. You taste it before you hear it. There's a certain condensation in the air as you descend further and further. The heat again. It's now beginning to get quite some comfortable heat, not the cold that you used to up near where the dwarves were, but a genuine warmth, a real warmth now, and you're beginning to start to sweat ever so slightly as you feel yourself getting warmer and warmer. But there's now a distinct moisture in the air. You can taste it in your mouth, a real humidity. And then you hear it, a soft, sort of a rumbling noise that as you get closer and closer, softly, you realise is a river. A very powerful river. As you approach, the tunnel sort of comes down some steps and enters into a cavern, stretching about 30 feet in front of you, 30 feet above, and the walls to the right, you can see water flooding down a waterfall into a big pool below and rushing in a very fast rapids of the river off to your left, where a very natural jagged chasm makes its way down the river, following deep into it. The worked stone platform that you're now on has come into almost sort of a semicircle, 10 feet in radius, that stretches just into the basin of the water and then stops.
Right.
How wet is the platform we're on then with the water?
It's
Is
pretty
it-
wet.
is
Yeah,
it
there's,
slippery? Yeah.
the
Yeah,
splashing
just,
from the waterfall is constant. There's, in the chaotic way that water falls from a height, it splashes randomly. Sometimes it ripples up and bubbles and,
Yeah.
and catches you. You can see it occasionally splashes. There's a mist as well,
Yeah.
a constant watery fog stretching round the base of this waterfall as it combines with the heat and the force of it hitting in. There's a huge amount of water coming through here.
And the only source of light is currently my torch.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Make a perception check.
No. Nope, 6.
No, you can't see any other light sources.
Cool.
Well, this was unexpected. Ideas?
We all look at each other.
Wonderful.
Well, should we tie each other together?
Because we seem to do it all the time anyway.
No, I'm just thinking if should. Not saying it's going to happen. One of us slips. Do we all go in? and end our adventures together, or we can try and pull the other person out. I'm just thinking. It sounds like
No, it's a very good idea.
Yeah, spot on.
fun of them. It's great.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay, tying each other together.
And we'll go.
TBA.
Yep, you did the rope. You will feel much safer now.
Do we? Do we though?
Okay.
Cool.
With that done, everyone comes forward.
Into the pool of water. Okay. As you put your foot in it, you notice very quickly that it's deep. You sort of stretch your foot down, and by the time you sort of pulled yourself into waist sort of height, there's no bottom to it. It's difficult to feel how deep this thing is. And the water, even in the pool, by the base of this waterfall, imagine the waterfall comes down and then the docks sort of here, comes down and splashes through. There's a force to the water. It's moving very strongly from right to left. You feel like if you got on this river, it would be quite a physical effort to stop yourself from being swept away.
Wait, come back.
Yeah, this isn't.
Then wait, the door is not. It must be guarding something, right? So there must be a way across. Is there a
Something
boat
we're missing.
or
Make an investigation check.
yeah, a little bit better. 15.
15. Now that you sort of are looking around, you take a look around the sort of the side where the dock entrance is, and sort of looking over, just on the edge, there is a sort of metal rung, like you've seen in harbours before,
Yeah.
where ropes are tied off, but there's nothing on it.
No boat here.
No boat, no rope. You can see the scuffs on the metal of where a boat would be tied, but nothing here.
Is there anything behind the waterfall? We'd have to go
Going
swim
across,
over there.
yeah.
Forget it.
To get to the waterfall, you can kind of climb on the jagged rocks to the side. It would be a little bit of a climb to get around it, but you could do it.
We are all tied together. It seems a waste not to go climbing as well.
How far is the rung from where I'd imagine I'd be climbing behind the waterfall?
The metal rung where the boat
Yeah.
is.
So the metal rung itself is attached to the jetty
Yeah.
section, and then the waterfall itself is probably about 15 feet of rocks to the right. So it would be a climb along the wall of the cavern to get to the water. But the waterfall itself is powerful water hitting down. So there's going to be a lot of physical exertion. It's possible. You can give it a try.
I mean,
But you can hear it. It's very loud as the water hits in.
I hate to say this, but should you cast fly on him?
On Flyboy,
Hmm.
what do you think?
Obviously, untie ourselves at this point.
Uh,
And you can go scout out, see if you can see if there's this other boat nearby.
it's an illogical choice. Although we should really stop referring to me as him. That'd be lovely, thank you.
Okay, well, I don't have time to argue him.
You ready?
Oh, I love this bit.
Fly!
You feel that weightlessness hit you suddenly as you pull out.
I promise this time I won't take as long.
You haven't got very far to go.
Yeah, well, we hope not.
Good luck.
Thanks. So I fly up and I want to just kind of go around the immediate area that we're in, try and get a better look at everything.
Perfect. Investigation check. Let's see what you find.
18.
18. Okay. So, as you're going around, you first investigate the waterfall itself. It seems to be a very powerful underground river that is sprouted into this natural chasm where the rock must have eroded in some way. You try putting your hand in, sort of making your way in, but it is very much like a pipe is jettisoning in. There's no air where the water's coming from. You quickly establish that with short of breathing water and pushing against a very powerful stream, it's very difficult to make your way further. You sort of pass along the rocks. There doesn't seem to be anything on the walls of this cavern, just the chasm itself that stretches off to the left. You can see the river disappearing into the dark, very raggedly making its way past rocks, a good 15 feet wide as it makes its way out of this particular room, powerfully disappearing down. It's a strong and fairly wide river. You imagine a boat would definitely be able to travel this.
Okay, nothing else of note around?
Not. Are you looking for anything in particular?
What I would like to see is any hint of where a boat may have been, like any sort of debris that could be on the side of any rocks. You know, so if a boat has been carried down and it's hit the sides or something.
Okay, no, that's good. You don't find any pieces of wood. There's nothing, no sort of debris or anything in that regard. The only scratches you can see around the edge of the dock itself, you can see the stone has been chipped. You manage to sort of float down lower, keeping yourself nice and low, but you look at the metal prong of where the boats were tied, and again, you see that familiar sort of dents across the side as boats have clearly been hit in this fast-moving water against the side of the dock, but there's no evidence of boats themselves.
I'm going to go a little bit further down this tunnel and see if I can find anything down there. I won't go far. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Okay. Good luck. Oh, Aubrey.
I'm just remembering my dream.
What dream?
So, Fiona question.
Mm-hmm.
This river, you say, for Theren, it would be hard to go. Do you think I could swim it with my new ability? 40 feet of movement.
You don't know.
No.
You've never tried anything like
I
that?
have not tried anything like that. I just want to try something, so I'm going to go into the water. I'll give Blue my torch.
You might want to, if you're going to go in there, or do you want
Tie
to...
yourself up to the rung.
Yeah, I'll do that. Good idea.
Oh.
Tie myself up, and then just put my head under the water and see what happens.
Okay, perfect. You submerge yourself into the cold. The water rushing past you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an intense water, just pounding away.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment where you're just desperately trying to hold yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then that voice. Be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Trust. And without realizing, you find yourself having taken a breath. The cold water just races into your lungs, burning all down your chest. But your eyes open wide. Suddenly, the water itself seems to reveal itself, but clearer in your mind. Your arms powerfully holding against the current. Moving fast, you would say at least 35 feet, 40 feet per turn in one direction. But you're holding it.
Hold it.
She's dunked her head in there quite a long time.
Make a perception check.
That's a 12.
12.
Yeah.
Actually, you do notice down sort of underneath where the dock hits the bottom of the water, you can see trapped in some rocks either side is a chest, a wooden chest, a small one, like a sort of little keep safe box that seems to have been dropped, swept away, and then just stuck in the rocks. And you can see it's still just occasionally moves, but it's just not going anywhere, trapped in the rocks.
Okay. Yeah, I'll if I see it, I'll try and get it out of the rocks. Try and pull it up.
Yeah, you easily take it out. And sort of bring it to the surface.
Yeah.
Thunk it on the side, and you see this rotten wooden box, but still very tight, very immaculately made. Just you can see strong patterns of metal have been sort of ripped down the side, but the box itself is rotten and broken. But once would have been a beautiful thing, but closed.
Whoa, nice find.
Yes, good job.
Thank you. Not what I expected. I was still on the side.
You alright?
Yeah, just that was it. That was interesting.
You were under for a bit.
I was. Yeah.
Then you've got big lungs, I suppose.
Yeah, that must be what it is.
Anyway.
Insight check, please.
Actually, how long would she have been under? Because people can breathe, like hold their breath for like a
She
minute.
was probably under for a minute.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, she's just acting funny, that's all.
Make an insight check.
Yeah, go for it.
Nah, that's a 9.
You're such a mystery.
So we'll break.
Alright,
You're
well,
surprised
let's...
she's not walking away right now.
On the water.
You're also suspicious. All right, let's open this. Do you mind if I...
Go for it. I'm squeezing the water out of my buns. Yeah.
You've got the highest passive perception.
Yes.
Oh, I've just given you a monster.
So, as you're sort of wringing the water out of Aubrey's hair, you hear it first. It's very difficult amongst the sound of the waterfall, which is incredibly loud, but there's almost like a spluttering. Like a... As landing on the ground in front of you, a large raven, black, feathers shining, and it sort of cocks its head, looking at the three of you.
Ah.
You can see its beak opening. There you are! Well, you took your time, didn't you? I couldn't get in contact with you. I had no idea where you were, but we found you.
Yes, we tried getting in touch with you.
I sent you a sending spell message, but it didn't get through?
Did you?
Yes.
No, I didn't get that.
Okay, well... Well,
What is it?
Well, lovely to see you too. Tell me, what did you find?
What do you mean?
I left you in the Shadowfell in the middle of the Clockwork Castle. What did you find?
Nothing.
Nothing?
There was a huge abomination thing. There were these thrones that we sat on in a certain order, and they sent us here.
we got 20 platinum.
Right. You can see Carmian's voice in the Raven. I should probably have said that before. It's the
No, we
distinct, slightly pained expression
Oh, the bird.
of the bird, his voice sort of echoing the assistant to Lady Riverwall, the tiefling. The raven sort of cocking its head around. You can see almost sort of gesturing against the movement of the words as its beak opens again and goes, the thrones. So you're telling me there was a puzzle that transported you where? Down here?
Yes, we were in this huge, what seemed like an opening. There was
A bridge.
over this insanely large chasm, and this creature, eyes insane, kept talking about Beluba.
Right, Beluba.
Yes.
Beluba. Yes, maybe. And then so you were led here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the short version,
Yeah.
yes.
And see the raven sort of hops to the side and looks down the river. Well, you need some way to get down there, aren't you? I've been able to sort of trace your steps. Once you came down into these catacombs, it's the amount of rock between me and you. It was very difficult to keep track of you, especially once you'd left the Shadowfell. The time was doing incredibly strange things to my magic. It was very difficult to contact. I was looking continuously into the Shadowfell.
How long has it been?
What do you mean?
Well,
How long were we gone? You said time works differently.
In the Shadowfell?
Yes.
Yes.
He sort of thinks to himself. DM will have
I was
to
gonna
check
say,
that briefly. So you were...
We didn't long rest in it. I think we had a short rest at some
you had
point.
a short rest.
Yeah.
So only an hour, but it was a day at least to get to the
Yeah,
clockwork.
because we wouldn't.
Yeah, so day and a half, 2 days
Yeah,
Okay.
at the most.
yeah. We short rested once.
Yeah.
He
Anyway.
sort of looks at... I think it's been about 12 days.
12 days?
Yes.
Oh God.
What about the ship? We're ready to leave now.
Captain Sarcher.
Captain Sarcher? Oh, of course she's not gone anywhere. She's waiting for me. Well, Lady Riverwall, to be precise. Well, as soon as I'd lost contact with you, we weren't going anywhere until we knew you were dead.
Have you contacted them to make sure they haven't sorted off?
Well, yes.
Oh, good.
I can
that's fine.
see them. They're easy to contact.
Oh, great.
Right.
They went on a different plane of existence.
What about the flab giants? Have you not been troubled by them at all?
Oh, no. No. They can't get me up here.
Any sign of any humanoids? They'd be heavily armoured.
Heavily armoured?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Well trained. Members of the Order.
Oh. No, not what I've seen.
Right. Carmen, perhaps it's time you tell us exactly what it is we're looking for here, as opposed to just saying you'll know it when you see it.
Well, it seems to have worked so far. You're on the trail of an artifact, correct?
Yes.
I was overhearing your conversation with the dwarves previously. I wanted to see how you handled yourself.
But I would like a bit of clarity, if you don't mind.
Well, no, quite frankly. The artifact is my little secret. Well, Lady Riverwall's secret.
This artifact that we're going for, is that it?
It's the best lead we've got so far. But, and you can see him looking down the river, you're going to need some help getting down here, aren't you?
Wait, you know about the dwarves?
The dwarves?
Yes.
Well, yes, I met those, I saw those two from a distance.
He's been following us this whole time, I get the impression.
Well, only the last few hours. It took a while to find you.
Okay.
This raven can only go so far.
Sure.
What's his name?
What do you mean, what's his name?
Raven.
Doesn't have a name, it's a raven.
But it's your Raven.
No, it was just a raven I found.
Oh, that's so manipulative.
So? Look, this is not a time
It's
for moral conjecture.
I would have called the name.
Let's see. You can see the raven sort of tops to the sides of the things, and you can see for about 20 minutes this raven hops up and down, chanting under his breath, thinking of things, and just like, no, I wouldn't work, and just getting frustrated.
Seen a lot of ridiculous things since we all started travelling together, but a raven hopping around and muttering to itself.
Seems the most Xerieos thing to me, to be honest with you.
It's like, that's the most Earth thing I've ever come.
Can I open the box we were opening when Carmen came to visit?
Rudely interrupted.
Yes, you can. So, inside the box, you find 9 rubies. Small but very beautifully cut. You can see almost like a large amount of money has been put into some small amounts of gems. But 9 rubies.
Wow.
You want to plug them in here?
Yep. Plop, 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 plop.
Okay. Mark them down.
Why do you laugh at that and not like knockers?
Plop, 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 plop.
Jesus, Fiona.
You can say it so quickly, it's really good. Plop, 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 plop. Sorry.
But nothing, there's no like boat in here, there's no...
No boat in there.
There's not a boat in this tiny box?
No.
What do you mean?
After a little while, you'll roughly notice at the same time, the raven hopping up and down, the feathers are beginning to fray. You can see bits of feathers are now falling to the floor. Its appearance becomes more and more ragged, almost like it's aging and withering very quickly. And you can see Carmen getting more and more frustrated under his breath, just... So it looks up to you, and you can see the raven flaps again, losing like 8-9 feathers from each wing as it flaps to the floor.
Q wounds on the crow.
Okay, yeah, roll for the healing.
Keep it going.
That would be 11, 12.
Wow.
Natural 20. So, the healing energy from Philip sort of washes over this raven, but you get the distinct feeling that it doesn't do anything. You can see the raven just sort of recoils from it and instinctually pecks out and jabs you right in the bit between the hands. You take 2 points of damage because it got a critical hit and it's got one damage as it pecks you. And he goes, wait, hang on, my spell's wearing off. I've got limited control over this creature. I'll be honest, it's tough. It's tough to summon something at this distance. I've been trying to think of freezing the water or summoning a boat, and nothing's working. But I do have one thing, but I was hoping not to do it. Right, and you can see him just right. I'm going to try summoning something. Someone that will be able to help you. Just look, I've done dealings with him before. He seems fairly logical, but just don't talk to him. Just keep it easy. I know you 3 tend to go off piste a little bit.
No, before you do this, what are you doing exactly?
Is it something we can make pacts with? Because I've got to be honest.
No, nothing you can make. Well, it sort of thinks of the raven flap and more feathers drop out. I don't have much time. It's a boatman.
No.
I'm summoning a boatman.
Right. Why aren't we to talk to it? Him, her?
Because it's a fiend. It's a very evil creature, Theren.
Carmian, are you fucking kidding me with this?
Would you like to go any further?
I don't think there's any other option.
I can still fly for a while. You seem quite adept down there.
Well, that's great, but this raven is almost dead, and once this is done, I won't be able to get another creature down here for some time.
It's not just my decision.
How powerful is this fiend?
Compared to you three, trifle.
If he messes up...
No stronger than one of those clockwork creatures.
What happens when it's done?
Well, it'll go home.
It's fine.
Honestly, he really likes being a boatman. You can see he's very honest when he says this. He's very nonplussed about the fact that he's talking about a fiend right now.
Carmion hasn't tricked us about anything ever before, so he must be on the level with this one.
That's the spirit, Blue.
That was sarcasm.
And the raven sort of looks up. Was it?
I was trying it out.
Oh!
No, that was sarcasm. He just did that.
Oh, damn!
Don't be
raven
rude to Blue.
Hops down and just look right, and you can see him start to chant, hopping round and round and round, and
Hand is on bear claw. Yeah.
and eventually the raven is just sort of starts to glow, starts flapping in the air, feathers falling out everywhere, but sparks beginning to crackle as the raven turns around and goes, right, well, good luck, keep me informed. Try the sending again. Maybe it'll work this time.
Okay.
Okay. And the raven just flies into the waterfall, and with a puff of feathers and sparks, it just goes
It dead.
and disappears.
Bye.
And then about 10 seconds later, slowly drifting out of the waterfall, you see the shape first, the shadowy blackness of a figure, a boat. A wooden boat. You can see a dark wood, a stained black, almost an obsidian-esque piece of wood. A curved figurehead of a large rowing boat begins to make its way slowly out, totally ignoring the speed of the river behind it, as a figure emerges, stood on the back with a pole, like a gondola, you can see, pushing slowly the boat as it makes its way out of the waterfall, which Theren, you had explored before. Nothing but solid rock there. As it drifts
Being a boatman.
to the side,
Favourite thing.
and the figure now that you see, it is a hooded figure. You can see very gaunt, muscled, but very thin, athletic form, standing about 6 feet tall, but very gaunt. You can see all its arms and its fingers are wasted away, but strong, muscly, sinewy. You can see very powerful there. The dark robes and leathers, various keys down one side of it, and the head cowled that sort of turns over. And it rocks itself up to the side of the dock and sort of stands there. And you just hear this voice booming into all three of your heads directly. No words, but just a telepathic communication saying, well then, I've been hired for a trip. All aboard.
I can still fly. I'll go above, behind, just in case.
Don't know how long we need to be on this boat for, though.
If it's getting close to the time, then I'll just have to land on the boat.
Okay.
Probably got about half an hour left. Half an hour.
About 40 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay.
Okay.
Blue.
Yep.
Don't address it.
Well, it's very rude.
I know.
You can just hear a chuckling
Can
above
I
your head.
ask his name?
No.
You can ask my name if you want.
Don't respond. Just get on the boat.
Oh. That's a very toxic personality. And you can see its head, the cowl begins to turn towards you, Theren, and you see a face, very humanoid but gaunt, the skin wrapped around almost the skull features of this creature, piercing blue and white eyes in this skull with skin wrapped around it. And you can see, just as he holds his massive wooden pole, flames and ash starts to just sort of out the top of this smoke. as he goes, well, don't worry. I wouldn't be able to take either of you on in a fight. That's not my style. I know where my values lie. I am the captain of this vessel. Yes. I never get lost. I never crash. My vessel never sinks. And I'm paid well for it. There is no shame in that. As the head turns back, if you want to fly, be my guest.
That abomination will probably try and get in each of our heads at some point.
Abomination?
I don't know what it's trying.
That's very rude.
But we will be careful and this will be fine. Blue, again, just don't, please, for me. As a friend, I'm asking you not to be your normal, lovely self.
Make a persuasion.
Oh, come on.
That's enough.
Yeah, 21.
Okay.
Your head and only your head, Blue. You hear? I'd listen to him. You want to keep friends. They're rare.
He seems quite nice, but okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
All aboard.
Yep, get on the boat.
You can see this.
Just above.
Yeah,
a
the
little
two
bit
of you
behind.
make your way onto the boat. The boat, very solid. There's enough room for 7, 8 people to stand on this barge. It's big, about 10 feet wide and about 30 feet long. As he begins to push the boat off slowly into the river, and it quickly picks up speed, navigating very confidently down this river. You can see the stick again now bursts into flame like a torch at the top, illuminating all around as the cavern, smoke trail wishing off behind the boat as the boat quickly begins to pick up speed. And as you can see, now going with the water and now slightly faster than the water as it makes itself very delicately round the rocks. You can see jutted boulders and spikes and debris in the middle of this river. He just deftly navigates around with a sweep of the stick this way and almost like a sort of waft of the hand that way. The boat will just, the top of this will just sort of keel slightly and move around things. And for the next 40 minutes you make your way through this cavern. It's very jagged, a natural cavern. The river sometimes goes downhill and picks up some speed, but then evens out, drifts to the left, drifts to the right. Occasionally you enter slightly bigger chambers, but mostly it's a long passage of river. So when you feel, and Blue probably give you some warning, the spell begins to run out.
Yeah, he lands on the boat. Hand is still on Backlaw the whole time.
As you sort of go and you're sort of still on the boat for 5 minutes, everybody's voice, everybody hears it. The voice again picks up. Your hand must get awfully tired gripping that weapon so hard. Relax. You know you could beat me in a fight. I am a ferryman. Besides, you kill me now, I'll scuttle the boat, and you'll be stuck down here. That would be a shame. And he says it just at a point where you can see there's very little grippable rock on either side as the river begins to get deeper and deeper into this chasm now stretching 50, 60 feet above you as you make your way down. And then another voice in your head. You're not curious, are you? This is to all of you. My agreement with your friend.
Blue, you are doing so well.
It pays well, you know. But that's the thing about a contract. It's easily replaced if you need it. Just saying. If ever you need my help. I wouldn't like to say I would work for anyone, but I would. As it pushes its way down.
I understand what it's saying is tempting, but do not forget what it is.
What am I? I'm curious. Abomination is such a horrible word.
Would one of the more intelligent amongst us know what he is?
Anybody can make an Arcana check for me.
Yes. No.
Nope.
That's a 6.
20.
3.
20. Okay, the two of you don't know.
No.
You know enough to know that the creature that you met in the Clockwork Castle, which you identified as a demon, had... It doesn't feel like a demon. This is... it's too calm. It's too logical. And talking about a contract... You don't think demons sign contracts. There's only one form of fiend that you know that signs contracts. But, I mean, you're not sure. You don't have much understanding of this area. It might be a devil. It might not.
It's not worth the risk. I understand that it's tempting. It's trying to be tempting.
I mean, what much use are we going to have for a boatman anyway?
Exactly. It's not like the world is mostly water, is it?
No, good point. But I mean, like a gondola person.
You know,
boatman.
I've sailed before. I've actually captained. Yes, Carmian told me all about your little trip. It's part of our exchange. The Athena, you know it well. A long time ago, I captained that. Did you know that?
Blue. It just wants you to engage with it. Don't.
Oh, hush. You bore me now. As you can see, it pushes ahead and goes silent as the boat makes its way further in. About 5 minutes later, it sort of cocks its head upwards and sort of goes, ah. Now that's a sound I haven't heard in a while.
Can we hear anything?
Listening for it.
Make a perception check.
No.
No.
5.
19.
4.
19. Okay. You start to hear Blue. Now that he mentions it, above the raging water below, you can see the waters begin to pick up speed over the last sort of 5 minutes or so, really picking up as you go deeper and deeper into this chasm. The boat's still just so delicately picking its way through a very turbulent water around. It's like watching a TV screen. It's being disconnected. You can see the venom of the water, but there's no influence on the boat itself. It's
cool.
perfectly still as it goes down. But you start to hear it, a call, a song, like a weird dancing music, but it's alien. It's strange, tuneless. It seems to make sense in parts, but then drift off and become weird and strange. The noises are not, they're not normal. As the creature just sort of cocking his head back towards you. He's heard them. I don't think you have, though. As there's a thump on the boat. Blue, as you're listening to this sound, the two of you just begin to just hear it, this call. Your attention, Blue, is drawn up above. Suddenly you go, I can hear the noise above, as a scream goes, and something drops directly towards you. You see it coming, and just it thumps onto the boat. And beside you, you can see the whole boat lift and rock up as this mass of tentacles, 9, 10 long tentacles picking themselves around the boat, already beginning to reach out towards you. As Theren, you don't see the second one coming. It just drops straight onto you, crushing you into the deck and beginning to wrap around you. This horrible creature.
Oh no.
You can see almost a human face begin to arise out of this mass of tentacles, almost like a starfish, but with more limbs, more just wrapping themselves around a large nose, horrible black eyes, and where a mouth should be, a huge beak that you can already see Theren in its tentacles wrapping around his legs, the beak rising towards where Theren is. It looks a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit like that.
Nasty.
Well, that's fucking
That is
disgusting.
horrific.
And that's where we'll leave it for today.
No.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. That's very good fun. Yeah.
Forever stressed.
Do you want a picture of the boatman?
Please.
That help as well. Again, I trust you not to look these things up. I mean, you all know exactly what it is anyway, but just don't metagame. But that's roughly on the left
Ah, cool.
what he looks like.
That's so cool.
Yeah, isn't he?
Yeah,
Really cool.
Yeah.
really enforce
can't
the whole
talk to him.
don't address him.
Oh.
Not even him, it.
Oh.
It's going to happen at some point, you know. It's gonna...
Yeah, actually, that's probably the thing you would have noticed is not particularly charismatic, but intelligent. There's a humour to him, an understanding of things. But
if you'd have rolled lower on that, I would have been
You would have
talking
been
his
talking to
ear off.
we'll pick it up next time. Straight into combat. But until then, thank you so much, everybody, and we will come back to this soon. See you later.
Bye.
See ya.